Good morning, my dear friend. The first golden rays of dawn begin to stretch across the sky, and the quiet hush of the world still lingers. I welcome you into this sacred moment, this pause before the rush, this breath before the noise. Morning has a way of slowing time, of softening everything. The air is still, the world is hushed, and heaven feels closer than ever. You are not just waking up to another day, you are awakening to divine possibility. Somewhere not too far from where you are, someone is lying in bed wide awake, not from rest, but from pain. Maybe you have been there. Maybe you are there. A woman holds her pillow tightly, tears soaking the silence. Her world has crumbled beneath the weight of grief she did not ask for. She has lost someone she loved, not just to death, but to distance, to betrayal, to time. Her heart beats in pieces, and though the sun is rising, her hope is not. She asks questions that echo in her soul. Is anyone listening? Does God still see me? Will the ache ever ease? Perhaps it is not grief, but fear of the unknown, of another bill, another diagnosis, another closed door. Maybe it is not fear, but shame, regret, or the feeling of being stuck in a life that does not feel like yours anymore. And still, the morning comes. Still, the light breaks through. This space you have entered now is not ordinary. It is a spiritual threshold. You are not here by accident. You are being invited not by me, but by something higher, something eternal. Right now, before the world demands anything from you, you have the opportunity to realign with what truly matters. You do not need a perfect past or a fixed life. You only need a heart willing to listen and a soul willing to speak. Prayer is not reserved for the holy or the healed. It is for the hurting, the weary, the wondering. It is for those who have no words left and those whose only word is help. It is not about being strong. It is about being honest. And when you pray not just with your mouth, but with your whole heart, something shifts. Not always the circumstances, but always the spirit. Worry begins to dissolve. Peace takes root. Direction is found. The storm may rage, but it no longer owns you. Today, you are invited into a journey not through distant rituals, but through intimate conversation with the one who formed your heart and knows every silent ache inside it. Let this be the moment you exhale. Let this be where healing begins. As you listen and as you speak along the way, may every word take you closer not just to peace, but to presence. So now, my dear friend, take a deep breath. Set aside your expectations, your distractions, your heavy thoughts. Open your spirit like a window to morning light. We are about to begin a sacred exchange. This is not the start of just another day. This is the beginning of a deeper walk, a realignment, a rising from within. Let us enter the stillness together. Let us speak to God. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning I come to you with a heart that feels heavier than words can carry. The world is waking up around me, yet I feel like I have not truly slept. There is a silence inside me that is not peaceful but hollow, like something deep is missing. I do not have energy for performance today. I do not want to pretend that I have it all together. I just need you. I need you in a way that feels desperate but unsure, quiet but aching. I woke up with the weight of things I can fix. Conversations that haunt me, decisions I can undo. Questions that keep circling with no answer in sight. I carry the echo of yesterday's disappointments and the worry of tomorrow as unknown. I do not know what to pray for first. I just know I need to be with you. Right here, in this moment. So I come with no mask. I lay down the smile I wear in front of others. I lay down the strength I try to manufacture. I come not as someone strong in faith, but as someone hungry for you, for something real, something deeper. I do not need a routine today. Lord, I need rescue, not the kind of rescue that changes all my circumstances, the kind that changes me, my mind, my heart, my outlook. In this quiet morning hour, I ask you to find me here, in this place of emptiness that words can fully describe. I have gone through motions. I have said the right things, but my soul feels disconnected, like it is floating outside of who I am supposed to be. Help me find the thread back to you. Remind me that I do not need to bring anything perfect to be welcomed into your presence. I do not need to be cleaned up, sorted out, or made whole before I sit here with you. You take me as I am, even in this broken state, even in this wandering. Thank you for being the God who does not wait for me to have answers. You come when I have none. I do not even know what part of me is hurting the most. Is it the grief I have buried, the fear I ignore, the loneliness I deny? Or is it just the ache of existing in a world that moves too fast and cares too little? I do not know how to name what is wrong, but I trust you know every detail I can express. There is a fog in my spirit, Lord, a heaviness that makes everything feel further away, even you. But I do not believe that is the truth. I believe you are closer than I feel. I believe you are here, even in this silence, even in this numbness, even in this beginning that feels more like an end. So I give you this morning, not because I feel inspired or strong, but because I need a new beginning. I need something sacred to break into this ordinary. I need to remember that every sunrise is a whisper of mercy, not just another rotation of the earth. I need to know that my life still holds meaning, even when I feel lost in it. I have been trying to carry too much alone. I have let shame creep into places where I once felt your peace. I have listened more to the voice of my fear than the voice of your truth. And now I find myself exhausted, not just in body, but in soul. Please meet me here, in this quiet moment, and begin to breathe new life into these tired bones. I do not ask you for answers right now. I do not even ask you to take the pain away. I just ask for you, for your presence to wrap around me like a warm blanket when the air is too cold, for your nearness to calm the shaking inside me. I ask for your closeness, not because I have earned it, but because you promised it. You said that if I draw near to you, you would draw near to me. I am holding on to that, even if my draw near is nothing more than a whispered thought and a few broken words. I believe you honor even the smallest reach. So I reach now, not with confidence, but with a fragile hope that you will hold me before the pieces fall again. Thank you for allowing me to be honest in this space. Thank you for not requiring perfection as the price of communion. I am here, Lord, with my doubts, my questions, and my tired heart. I do not have much to offer, but I offer you this moment, this breath, this quiet. I do not know what today holds, but I know I cannot face it alone. So I give you this beginning. I give you this first light. Even if the rest of the day slips from my control, let this moment anchor me. Let this stillness be my strength. Let this prayer, however simple, be my offering. And if all I do today is remember that you are with me, then that will be enough. If all I can say is help, let it reach your ears like a song. If all I can do is sit here and breathe in your nearness, let that be worship. I am not trying to impress you. I am just trying to stay connected to you. I do not want to start this day in autopilot. I want to start it in awareness. Awareness that you are here, that you are not far, that this day, no matter how heavy, begins with you and can be carried by you. Dear Heavenly Father, I give you this heart that feels uncertain, this mind that races, these emotions I cannot seem to quiet. I give you the clutter, the noise, the H I woke up with, and I ask for just one thing before I move. That you would meet me in this stillness, that you would sit with me before the world asks anything from me, that you would fill me with something holy before I step into anything hard. I do not have the strength for victory this morning, but I have the hunger for presence, and I believe that is where strength begins. So I will sit with you just as I am, and trust that is enough. God, you know the words I cannot speak. You see the cries I have buried under quiet nods and practiced smiles. I do not know how to sound strong today. I do not want to pretend that my silence is peace. Sometimes, silence is just pain that has gone quiet because no one seemed to notice. Sometimes, the quiet is not stillness, it is surrender to weariness. And yet, I come to you, not because I feel full of faith, because I feel too empty to keep walking on my own. Lord, I left the previous moment with a whisper, hoping you would hear the fragile breath of someone trying to hold on. And now I find myself here, heart still trembling, still searching for something to wrap itself around. I do not have a long speech. I do not have the right language, but I do have this ache inside me that refuses to be ignored. And I know you see it. I know you hear even what I cannot say. There is a part of me that wonders if I am too much or maybe not enough. Too broken to be fixed, too far to be called back, too tired to be useful. But somewhere beneath the noise of all that self-doubt, I hear a deeper pull, a longing that sounds like home, a hope that I have not been abandoned, even when my feelings try to convince me otherwise. Father, I cry out to you not with polished prayers, but with the raw groan of someone who is just tired of pretending. I am tired of pushing through. I am tired of carrying the weight of things I never chose and of feeling like I have to be strong just to survive. I have smiled through fear. I have laughed through disappointment. I have stood tall while shaking inside. But this morning, I want to lay it down. I want to be the one who gets to fall apart safely in your presence. You are not afraid of my tears. You are not overwhelmed by my weakness. You are not disappointed when I run out of strength. So here I am, letting the silence fall apart into something holy, letting the tears speak what my lips cannot. If this is what it means to cry out, then let it be a cry that reaches heaven. Let it be a sound that does not need to be eloquent, only honest. I do not want one to wait until I feel brave to come to you. I want to come trembling, even if all I can bring are my questions and the ache of not knowing what is next. I want to come before I have the answers. I want to come while I am still in the middle of the ache, not after I have figured out how to hide it again. Sometimes I wonder if you really hear the sound of a soul cracking open in the dark, if you see the person lying still but breaking inside. But then I remember, you are the one who sees in secret. You are the one who hears what the world misses. And maybe, just maybe, this silence I sit in is not an absence of you, but an invitation to pour out what I have held in for too long. So I do. I pour it out. The fear I have carried in my chest like a stone. The grief I tucked away to be polite. The dreams I let go of quietly so no one would ask why I stopped hoping. I bring it all here, not to make sense of it, but to surrender it, not to solve it, but to offer it. I can fix what broke, but I believe you can hold what shattered. This is not a prayer of victory, God. It is a prayer of survival, a cry from someone who is still learning how to trust in the dark, someone who is still finding their voice again after silence became their armor. I do not want to be silent anymore, not with you, not in this sacred space. I cry out not because I doubt you, but because I need you. There is a difference. I need to know you are still listening. I need to know you are still near. I need to know that my tears are not wasted, that this breaking has purpose, that this chapter is not the end of my story. You said the brokenhearted are not forgotten. You said those who mourn will be comforted. You said you bottle every tear and count every sigh. I am holding on to those promises now, not because they're easy, but because they are all I have. I want to dress them up in pretty words. I will just place them at your feet and wait, even if the waiting feels like forever. I cry out to you with the hope that silence does not scare you, that even when I feel like I am unraveling, you are holding all the threads, that even when I feel like I am slipping, you are catching every piece, that even when I say nothing at all, you understand it better than I do. God, meet me in this cry, in this unfiltered sound of someone trying to stay soft in a hard world, in this moment where all I can do is whisper your name like it is the only thing left. Jesus. I cry that name not as a habit, but as a lifeline, as a way to say I am still reaching, I am still here, I am still hoping you will draw near. You always have. So I wait in this place not because I am patient, but because I am out of places to run. I wait because deep down, I still believe that you respond to those who call, that you come close to those who break open. Not because they are strong, but because they finally stopped hiding. Lord, take this cry. this raw, imperfect, holy sound. Let it rise past my ceiling, past my fear, past every wall I have built to protect myself. Let it reach you like incense rising, like a fragile song returning to its composer. I cry not because I have lost hope, because I still have some. That is what tears mean. That is what this H means. It means I still want to believe. I still want to be held. I still want to be whole. So I sit here in this moment with nothing left to offer but this trembling, breaking, honest cry. And I ask that it is enough. I ask that it moves your heart. I ask that you hear me, not because I speak loud, but because I speak true. This is my prayer, Lord, not with answers, not with conclusions, but with a soul that is still reaching, still crying, still believing that you hear even this. Father, I do not want to just cry out and then walk away unchanged. I do not want to pour my heart out and miss the quiet answer that may follow. I have come to realize that not every response comes in thunder. Some of the deepest truths are whispered. Some of the most powerful moments are still. And now, after the tears and the aching, I just want to sit with you in silence, not the silence of despair, but the silence that listens, the silence that waits. God, the noise around me never stops. My phone lights up before I can even open my eyes. There are voices in my head before I ever hear the birds outside my window. And yet right now, in this moment, I want to make space for stillness. I want to step into something deeper than reaction or routine. I want to find you in the whisper, in the pause between thoughts, in the breath I did not know I was holding. You said that in quietness and trust, there is strength that feels so upside down from everything I have been taught. Strength is supposed to look loud, bold, unshakable, but you say strength is found in stillness, in the unclenching of fists, in the slowing of breath, in the simple willingness to be with you without rushing to do or fix or prove. So here I am, Lord, not asking, not performing, just being. I want to hear what I have been too distracted to hear. I want to feel what I have been too busy to feel. If you are speaking, and I believe you are, then help me quiet everything else until your voice is the only sound that matters. Stillness does not come easily. To me, I fill the silence out of habit, out of fear that nothing is there. I reach for something to do, something to say, because sitting still feels like not moving forward. But you remind me that sometimes sitting still is moving forward. Sometimes stillness is where the war ends and the healing begins. I can feel my mind wander. Even now, the to-do list, the worries, the memories that rise uninvited, but I bring them all here not to push them away, but to lay them at your feet. I do not have to pretend they are not there. I just have to let you have them. I choose stillness not because I have nothing to do, but because nothing matters more than this moment with you. Let this quiet not be empty, but full of presence, full of peace, full of the kind of knowing that goes deeper than words. Speak to me in the language of silence, Let your nearness become louder than the storm inside me. There are things you only reveal when everything else is hushed. There are directions you only give when I stop running ahead. There are comforts you offer that I miss because I am too quick to move on. But not today. Today, I will wait, not with frustration, but with expectation. Because I believe you meet those who wait. I believe you reward those who slow down long enough to notice you. You are not far, Lord. You never were. It was the noise that made you seem distant, the chaos within me, the fear that pressed in, the business that felt noble but left me dry. But now, in this space, I can almost feel you again, not in some dramatic wave, but in the calm that settles when I stop striving. You never asked me to perform for you. You only asked me to come. And sometimes, coming means being still, not rushing to impress, not fixing my emotions, not explaining myself, just sitting in the sacredness of being known. Think part of me feared that if I stopped moving, I would fall apart. But maybe falling apart in your presence is where wholeness begins. Maybe in the stillness. The cracks get filled. Maybe in the pause. The perspective shifts. Maybe in the silence. The healing finally speaks. You are not measuring my worth by how well I articulate my prayers. You are not waiting for me to clean up my thoughts. You are here. Even now, in the hush, in the in-between, in the inhale and exhale that brings me back to center. Let this be the place where my soul rests again. Let this be the moment where I remember that I am not what I do. I am yours, and that truth is enough to quiet the storm. That truth is enough to anchor me. Teach me how to carry stillness into the rest of my day. Teach me how to walk slowly through moments that rush me. Let me hear you even when the world grows loud again. Let the stillness here become strength there. Let the peace now become clarity later. Let this simple act of sitting in silence be the doorway to divine wisdom. Father, I know there will be days when this stillness feels dry, when the silence feels empty instead of sacred. But even in those moments, remind me that waiting is not wasted, that faith grows in the unseen, that you are doing something beneath the surface. Even when I feel nothing, I do not come to stillness for feeling. I come for connection. I come to say, you are enough, even when there is no sign or sound. I come to say, I trust you, even in the silence. That kind of trust is what I long to grow. That kind of quiet confidence is what I need to face what is ahead. So for now, I won't fill this space with more questions. I won't rush to make noise just to feel safe. I will let the quiet stretch out. I will let it make room. I will let it hold the possibility of hearing you in a way I never have before. Because you are not only the God of miracles and mountains. You are the God of still mornings and quiet hearts. You are the God who speaks in whispers and heals in silence. And I want to know you in every way you choose to reveal yourself, even it is not how I expected. So I stay. I wait. I breathe. I listen. And in this simple act of stillness, I believe something holy is beginning. Lord, now that I have found this stillness, even for just a moment, I feel the space you have made inside me. The noise has quieted. The panic has loosened its grip, and in this calm, I realize how much I need clarity. Not just peace to comfort my heart, but direction to guide my steps. I am standing at the edge of a day I have not lived yet. I know it will be full of choices, interruptions, demands, and moments I did not plan for. And if I am honest, I do not want to move forward without hearing from you first. Not just for comfort, but for counsel. Not just for reassurance, but for instruction. Father, I am done relying on my own understanding. It has worn me thin. It has led me down paths that looked right, but left me drained. I have acted out of impulse, out of pressure, out of fear. I have tried to do what made sense in the moment only to realize later it was not wisdom, it was survival. But I do not want to live like that anymore. I do not want to react my way through life. I want to respond to your leading. So I come asking not with entitlement, but with trust. I come with an open mind and a surrendered heart. Show me what I need to see today. Not everything, just enough for this step. Reveal what is hidden if it needs to be exposed. Redirect me if I am walking toward something that is not for me. Close doors that look good, but are not aligned with your purpose. You know how I try to analyze everything. How I stay up late trying to solve problems you never asked me to carry alone. You know how I overthink. How I worry about what people will think. How I hesitate even when I sense you nudging me. But I do not want to be stuck in hesitation anymore. I want to walk in discernment. I want to be sensitive to the voice of your spirit more than to my fears, more than to my emotions, more than to the opinions of others. God, give me eyes to see clearly, not just what is in front of me, but what is underneath. Help me read the heart of things. Help me notice what I usually overlook. Help me sense when something is not right, even if it sounds good. I do not want to be fooled by outward appearances. I do not want to be led by convenience. I want clarity that comes from communion with you. I know that wisdom does not always shout. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it comes in the form of restraint instead of release. Sometimes it feels like stillness instead of action. And I ask you to teach me how to recognize that kind of wisdom, to stop waiting for dramatic signs and start honoring the whisper within. Help me, Lord, to distinguish between my own voice and yours, between anxiety and prompting, between guilt and conviction. You said that your sheep know your voice, and I want to live like I truly believe that. I want to move only when you move. I want to speak only when you lead. And I want to know when to be still, because you are doing something beyond what I can see. Father, I bring before you the decisions that weigh on me, the small ones and the big ones, the things that seem urgent and the ones I have pushed aside. I ask for light on the path ahead, even if it is only enough for the next step. Let it be your light. I do not need to know everything. I just need to know that you are guiding me, that you are in this with me, that I am not wandering in circles while you stay silent. I have wasted time chasing answers in places that can offer truth. I have listened to too many voices, read too many opinions, tried too hard to find certainty in what the world offers. But now I am turning back to you, the one who sees all, knows all, and leads with perfect love. Help me not to rush ahead of your timing. Help me not to settle for less than what you have planned. When my impatience flares, calm me. When my fear whispers, quiet it. When I want to control everything, remind me that surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. Lord, protect me from my own assumptions. Show me where I have been blind. Show me if I am holding on to something you have been asking me to release. If I am trying to force something that is not meant to be, stop me gently. If I am afraid to step into something you have ordained, push me kindly. I do not want to move through this day reacting to pressure. I want to move through it responding to purpose. Let every conversation be guided. Let every decision be filtered through your truth. Let every yes be filled with peace, and every no be wrapped in confidence. I know that clarity won't always come all at once. I know that sometimes you guide like a compass, not a spotlight. But even in that, I choose to trust. I choose to believe that if I stay close, you will make sure I do not miss what matters. That you will redirect me gently if I stray. That you will protect me from walking into things that could harm me. God, if I have been trying to open doors you have shut, forgive me. If I have ignored the red flags you sent, forgive me. If I have trusted my own logic more than your spirit, realign me. I do not want to build a life based on assumptions. I want to build a life based on your voice. So today, before I act, before I speak, before I plan, I ask for clarity. Let it come in ways I recognize. Let it settle in my chest like peace. Let it confirm itself through wisdom, through your word, through the quiet knowing that can't be explained. Let me move with conviction, not confusion. Let me trust the clarity you give, even if it does not come with full explanation. I do not want a perfect plan. I want perfect peace. And that peace only comes when I walk in step with you. Not ahead, not behind, just with you. So here I am, God, asking for what only you can give. Show me where to place my feet. Show me when to wait. Show me when to let go and when to lean in. And as I walk through this day, let clarity lead me, not the fear of making mistakes, but the faith that you are making my path straight. I will listen. I will wait. I will move when you say move. I will stop when you say stop. And I will trust that the clarity I need is already on its way. Father, as I ask for clarity to guide my steps, I become even more aware of how exposed I feel walking into the unknown. This day is still unfolding, but already I can feel the tension gathering. There are battles waiting on the other side of this prayer, some I can name, and others I do not even see coming. That is why I need more than just insight. I need covering. I come to you now not only for direction, but for protection, not out of fear, but out of trust. Because I know the moment I step into the world, distractions will try to divide my mind. Fear will try to grip my heart, and voices that do not speak from you will try to shape how I see myself, others, and this day. I do not want to walk into that unguarded. I do not want to drift through this day unaware of the unseen battles that rage beyond what eyes can capture. Lord, place your protection over my spirit before the first challenge even reaches me. Guard my peace before anxiety has a chance to take root. Cover my thoughts before the lies of the enemy can twist them. I know that not all battles are loud. Some are subtle. Some sneak in quietly through comparison, through old wounds, through careless words, through inner doubts. And that is where I need you to be strong on my behalf. I am not asking for a life free of struggle. I am asking for strength to stand when it comes. I am asking for wisdom to recognize the fight that is mine and the one that is not. I do not want to waste my energy trying to fix what was never mine to carry. I do not want to spend this day wrestling with shadows that dissolve when I hold them up to your light. Protect me from the things that look harmless but eat away at joy. Protect me from the subtle bitterness that whispers when expectations are unmet, from the spirit of offense that waits to take root in moments of misunderstanding, from the heaviness that clings to memories I thought I would buried. I need you to be my shield today, not just from what is outside me, but from what rises within. God, I know that some of the fiercest battles I will face with people or circumstances, but with my own mind. So before the swirl of thoughts begins, I ask you to place a guard over my thinking. Let truth rise louder than assumption. Let peace drown out worry. Let love silence accusation. And let my inner world be shaped not by fear, but by the security of being yours. Cover my body, too, Lord. Let every place I walk today be marked with your presence. Keep me safe from harm I cannot predict. Protect my home, my health, my family, my surroundings. Place angels on assignment around every doorway I enter and every space I inhabit, not out of superstition, but because I believe in divine protection. I believe in a God who sees what I cannot, who fights for me when I do not know there is a war. There may be moments today that test me, conversations that provoke, situations that frustrate, words that sting, but I ask that you guard my heart, so I do not carry offense like a badge. I ask that you remind me who I am before insecurity has the chance to speak. And when opposition rises, whether small or significant, help me not to shrink back or strike first. Help me respond with grace that can only come from you. Lord, I do not want to walk through today on defense. I want to walk in quiet authority. I want to know that I am covered, not because I have earned it, but because I belong to you. Let that knowing wrap around me like armor. Let it settle deep into my bones. Let it become my posture, my filter, my strength. I know I can prevent every storm. I know not every conflict will be avoided, but I also know you are my defender. So even when things go sideways, when the unexpected interrupts, when people disappoint, when emotions rise, I ask you to be my calm, to be my steady, to be the one I lean on, not just at the end of the day, but right there in the middle of it. If discouragement tries to settle in, push it back with reminders of your faithfulness. If fear tries to steal my breath, steady me with your word. If temptation comes close, lead me down the path of escape you always provide. I do not want to be caught off guard. I want to be rooted, alert, anchored, not suspicious of every moment, but aware that I carry something holy, and it is worth protecting. Let my words carry protection. 2. Let them be gentle shields instead of sharp weapons. Let my tone soften where anger wants to flare. Let my silence speak peace when my opinion wants to dominate. Let my presence be a refuge for others, not because I have no battles, because I walk with the one who wins them. And if I face anything today that knocks the wind out of me, be my breath. If I encounter something that makes me question everything again, be my reminder. If the enemy dares to speak into my mind with lies that sound familiar, interrupt those lies with the voice of truth. Remind me, I am not who the world says I am. I am not defined by how this day unfolds. I am not vulnerable to the schemes of the enemy when I am wrapped in the protection of the Most High God. There are days when the battle is within and no one else sees it. Days when I look calm, but I am barely holding it together. Days when I smile, but I am fighting tears. You see all of it. So fight for me in ways I can fight for myself. Stand between me and the weight that tries to crush me. Speak for me when my courage runs thin. Surround me with your presence until I remember that I was never meant to carry this alone. And in all things today, good and hard, remind me that I am not unprotected. Remind me that my help does not come from effort, but from heaven. Remind me that even when I feel exposed, I am covered, I am safe, I am held, I am defended, not because everything is easy, but because you are near. So I fear the battles I have not seen. I dread the interruptions. I brace myself for failure. I will step into today not unguarded, but watched over, not by chance, but by choice. Because I asked, and because you always answer with more than I expected. Because you are a God who goes before, walks beside, and stands behind. I walk forward now wrapped in the quiet strength of knowing I am protected. Father, as I move forward under your protection, I feel a quiet nudge to pause and remember why I'm even able to stand covered in your grace today. Because the truth is, everything I am asking you for peace, direction, protection, strength flows from a place far deeper than my morning needs or my daily battles. It all begins at the cross, and I do not want to go another step without remembering what you did there for me. I confess, Lord, it is easy to forget, not because I do not believe, but because I get distracted. I get wrapped up in the weight of my world and forget the weight you carried for me. I forget that every breath I take in freedom was bought at the highest cost. I forget that the covering I walk under came from a love so deep it allowed itself to bleed. So now I stop and let it hit me again, not with guilt, but with reverence, not with shame, but with awe. The cross was never meant to be just a story. It was never meant to fade into the background of my busy life. It was meant to live inside me, to reshape how I see everything. Jesus, you did not go to that cross because I was strong. You went because I was lost. You did not suffer because I had potential. You suffered because I had no hope apart from you. And still, you went willingly, not reluctantly, not halfway, all the way. You took on every failure, every sin, every wound, and made it yours. You did not deserve the weight of my wrong, but you carried it as if it were your own. God, I do not ever want to treat that lightly. I do not want to talk about the cross like it is distant or detached. I want it to break me open again. I want it to humble me. I want it to remind me that grace is not cheap and mercy is not abstract. It came through suffering. It came through blood. It came through a love I will never fully understand, but one I desperately need. I think about the agony of it all, not just the physical pain, but the emotional weight, the betrayal, the silence from heaven as you cried out, the loneliness of being the only one who could do what needed to be done. You were mocked so I could be accepted. You were pierced so I could be healed. You were forsaken so I would never be alone. And now here I am, standing in the light of that sacrifice, breathing grace, living in the aftermath of your victory, covered not by my righteousness, but by yours. My sin has been dealt with. My shame has been erased. My name is written where it could never have written itself, in the palm of a Savior who thought I was worth dying for. Sometimes I live like I still have, to earn what you already gave. Sometimes I try to perform for love instead of resting in the love that already bled for me. But right now, in this moment, I return to the truth that sets everything right. The cross was enough, not just for my past, but for this day, for this hour, for this moment when I do not feel worthy, and for the ones when I pretend I do not need grace at all. Lord, let the cross recenter me. Let it strip away every false identity. Let it silence the voice that says, I have to prove myself. Let it speak louder than every accusation I have internalized. When I doubt my value, let me look to the cross. When I question my future, let me look to the cross. When I am weighed down by guilt, fear, or comparison, bring me back to the place where love poured out without condition. Help me not to pass by too quickly. Help me to sit in the shadow of that hill long enough to remember what it means. Let the story be more than something I know. Let it be something that undoes me. Let it wreck my pride, soften my heart, and open my eyes to the truth that everything good in me comes from what you did for me. There are scars on my life, but none more powerful than the scars on your hands. And because of those scars, I am healed, I am whole. I am not who I used to be. I have been rescued from darkness. I have been transferred into light. And this light is not earned, it is received. Lord, make me someone who lives like I have been redeemed. Not just someone who talks about it or sings about it, but someone who walks differently because I have been loved beyond reason. Let the memory of the cross change how I see others. 2. Let me extend mercy because I have received it in abundance. Let me forgive quickly because I have been forgiven completely. Let me love freely because I have been loved endlessly. And when the enemy tries to remind me of who I used to be, let me point him back to the cross. Let that be my response, not an argument. Not defensiveness, but the finished work of Jesus. It is done. It is sealed. It is unshakable. I do not know what this day will bring, but I know what the cross already settled. I do not know what I will face, but I know what was already faced for me. and that gives me peace deeper than any circumstance can shake. So, I will carry this remembrance into my day not as a burden, but as a banner, not as a weight, but as a victory. The kind that says I do not have to walk in shame anymore. I do not have to chase acceptance. I do not have to live as though love is a reward for good behavior. It is already mine, because Jesus said yes to the cross. Thank you, Father, for reminding me that the most important thing about this morning is not how I feel, is what has already been done for me. What was done cannot be undone. What was finished cannot be reversed. And because of that, I walk forward in grace, with gratitude written on every breath I take. Let this memory linger, not just now, but when I step into tasks, into meetings, into hard conversations, into moments of quiet frustration. Let it be the undercurrent of my day, the steady truth beneath everything else. I am loved. I am redeemed. I am held by the one who gave everything for me. And if I forget throughout the day, gently bring me back. Bring me back to the cross. Bring me back to that moment of surrender and love, because that is where everything begins and where my soul finds its rest. Father, as I linger in the truth of the cross, something in me loosens, the grip I have held on my pain, my pride, my guilt. It softens under the weight of what you carried for me. And in this still and sacred space, I know it is time to let go, not in a dramatic, one-time moment, but in the quiet, intentional choice to surrender what I was never meant to carry. I have been holding on so tightly to fears I dressed up as preparation, to worries I justified as responsibility, to expectations I placed on myself without asking if they came from you. I have kept carrying burdens out of habit. Some are rooted in things I can name: disappointments that cut deep, decisions that haunt me, memories that do not know how to be quiet. Others are just a heaviness I have learned to live with. Like a background H I stopped trying to explain. But now, Father, I bring it all to you. I do not want to just talk about freedom. I want to walk in it. I want to feel what it is like to wake up unburdened, not because life is easy, but because my soul is no longer weighed down by was never mine to hold. I am tired of pretending I am strong enough to manage it all. I am tired of piling up the pieces and calling it survival. I want release. You said to come to you, all who are weary and burdened, and you would give rest. You did not say come when it is convenient, or when I have it sorted out. You said come. And this morning, that invitation feels like breath to my lungs. So here I am, laying it down, not with perfect clarity, but with willing hands. I surrender the shame I have held onto because I thought it made me humble. The regret I have nurtured because I thought I deserved it. The anxiety I have rehearsed because I thought it would protect me. I surrender the image of who I think I need to be, the illusion of control, and the constant pressure to have all the answers. There are things I have been holding that are too heavy for this day. Thoughts that replay like broken records. Fears that follow me like shadows. Lies I have absorbed without noticing. I place them at your feet now, one by one. I do not have to carry the sting of rejection. I do not have to drag yesterday's failure into today's calling. I do not have to wear the labels that others have spoken over me. Or worse, the ones I have spoken over myself. Lord, teach me to live lighter, not careless, but surrendered. Teach me that letting go does not mean losing. It means trusting. That releasing does not mean giving up, it means making room. I want to make space inside me for joy that is not crowded by performance. Peace that is not choked by perfectionism. Love that does not ask permission to stay. You are not honored by my exhaustion. You are not moved by my striving. You are drawn to surrender. That quiet place where I finally admit I can tea. And that is the moment you whisper, I can. You meet me in the letting go. You hold what I release. You do not drop what I place in your hands. Even now, I feel the tension trying to pull me back. That voice saying I should hold on just a little longer, just in case. But I choose differently today. I choose to trust that you are better at holding my life than I am. That surrender is not failure, it is the beginning of freedom. And if I have to surrender it again tomorrow, I will. If the weight tries to creep back in, I will remember this moment. I will come back to the place where I said, enough. I will not live shackled to things that you already died to set me free from. Some of the weight I have carried has not been mine alone. I have been trying to hold others up, trying to fix, to rescue, to control, but you never asked me to be anyone else's savior. That role is already filled. So I let go of the need to be everything for everyone. I release the burdens I have carried on behalf of those I love. Knowing that you love them even more, I trust that you are their God, too. Let my surrender become the doorway to renewal. Let the space that opens be filled with your peace. Let the heaviness I have laid down be replaced by the lightness of grace. Let me walk forward not dragging my past, but lifted by your promise. Lord, if I pick it back up later out of habit, gently remind me to return it. If I start holding again what I have just given you, be patient with me. Teach me to surrender not once, but daily. Teach me to trust the process of releasing more than the illusion of control. This moment feels different, God. It feels like something is shifting not in my circumstances, but in me, like I am standing on holy ground. Hands open, no longer trying to carry what was never mine to bear. And in that empty space where the weight used to be, I feel something else taking root. Peace. Hope, room to breathe. I once pretend it is easy. Surrender rarely is, but I know it is holy. I know you receive what I place into your hands, not with judgment, but with tenderness, not with demands, but with mercy. And that is what I need most, not another plan, not another effort. Just mercy. Thank you for being the kind of father who welcomes the messy, the tired, the overwhelmed, who does not ask for performance, but presence, who does not require polish, but honesty. And here I am tired, raw, and open, ready to live a little lighter than I did yesterday. Let this surrender not be a one-time moment, but the beginning of a posture, a heart that stays open, a soul that stays soft, a life that remembers it is safest, not when gripping tightly, but when resting fully in you. And so I step into this day a little more empty of what I never needed, and a little more full of what I truly do. Ready not just to survive, but to live free, not because I fixed everything, but because I finally let go. Father, after releasing what weighed me down, I realize how much I need to be renewed, not just relieved. Letting go created space, but now that space needs to be filled. I do not want to leave it empty, vulnerable to old habits returning. I want it to overflow with something new. I need you to cleanse what has been stained and refresh what has been dried up inside me. Lord, this is not just about behavior. It is deeper. I need a cleansing of the places no one sees, the quiet corners of my thoughts, the locked rooms of my heart, the attitudes I have stopped questioning. I do not want to keep wiping the surface while ignoring the roots. Go there with me. Go into the inner places where patterns live. Go into the memories that still whisper pain. Go into the parts of me that are tired of pretending. Wash away what bitterness has left behind. Bitterness that clung to wounds long after they stopped bleeding. Bitterness that disguised itself as strength, but only ever made me cold. Cleans me from the sarcasm I have used to mask disappointment. Cleans the quick judgments I have allowed to grow unchecked. Scrub clean the traces of envy that linger when I see others walk into answers I am still waiting for. I need renewal that starts with honesty, so I confess the things I have ignored, the pride that tries to dress up as independence, the fear I have called caution, the selfishness I have labeled as self-care. I have let things linger in me that you never planted. Pull them up, gently if you can, forcefully if you must. Just do not let them stay. I want the soil of my heart to be clean again. Ready again. Soft again. Sometimes I forget how deeply your mercy runs. I act like forgiveness has limits, like grace runs out after too many mistakes. But you do not grow tired of cleansing me. You do not shame me for needing renewal again. You meet me like rain on dry ground, steady, soft. Enough. Pour into me, God. Pour until the residue of yesterday is gone. Pour until the thoughts that accuse are silenced by truth. Pour until the heaviness I thought I had to live with breaks apart under the light of your love. I do not want to just be functional. I want to be alive, awake, restored. I want my heart to beat in rhythm with yours again. Breathe fresh life into the places that have grown numb. Sometimes I do not even notice how my spirit gets tired, how my faith settles into routine, but you notice. You see when hope dims. You see when trust begins to shake. You see when joy becomes something I remember more than something I feel. And you do not leave me there. You come with water for the desert inside me. You come with healing that does not ask me to be perfect first. Lord, make me new, not just better, not just polished, but truly new. Let the places that were hardened by pain become soft again. Let the parts of me that held back out of fear now open with trust. Let the cynicism I used to protect myself be replaced with wonder. Let the fatigue in my soul be met with the strength only you can give. I do not want to keep dragging yesterday into today. I do not want to let old failures shape new opportunities. I do not want to live in cycles. I want to be transformed. Renew my mind so I can think with truth. Renew my emotions so I am not led by waves. Renew my spirit so I can hear you clearly again. Remove the buildup I did not even know was there. The spiritual clutter, the fog, the film of disappointment and distraction. Wipe it clean. You are not a distant God watching from far off. You are the one who kneels beside me, who takes the dirty pieces and washes them gently, who speaks life where I see loss, who sees potential where I only see patterns. You do not give up on those who need cleansing. You stay. You work. You love me all the way through it. And now, with every breath I take in this moment, I want more of you. Not just more peace, but more presence. Not just a temporary lift, but a lasting change. I want renewal that sticks. Not because I am disciplined, but because I stay near you. Because I keep coming back. Because I let you do the deep work in me, even when it is uncomfortable. Father, let your spirit fill what has been emptied. Let your joy rise in the place where grief used to sit. Let hope stretch its arms in the space once claimed by despair. Let my imagination be restored not to escape reality, but to dream again with you. Let my heart beat lighter. Let my soul sing again. Even in areas I thought were beyond repair, I invite you in. I trust you enough to believe that nothing is too far gone for you to restore. No failure is final in your hands. No mess is too deep for your mercy. And no one, not even me, is too broken to be renewed. If I have grown used to brokenness, change my expectations. If I have forgotten what it is like to feel free, remind me. If I have stopped believing for more, awaken desire again. I want to live like someone who has been made whole not just outwardly, but deep in the soul. I want that wholeness to pour into how I love, how I speak, how I walk through each part of this day. God, do not let this moment pass without something changing in me. Let it mark a shift, a turning, a fresh beginning. Not because everything outside me is different, but because everything inside me has been touched by you. Thank you for the way you renew me gently, steadily, faithfully. Not once, but every time I come, and here I am again, reaching for that renewal, trusting that you never grow tired of making things new. Not when they are in your hands, not when they have been surrendered to your care. Let today be shaped by this cleansing. Let my thoughts reflect it. Let my actions reflect it. Let my presence reflect it. Not with perfection, but with purity. Not with pressure, but with peace, because I know you did not just cleanse me to leave me empty. You made me ready, filled, renewed, and able to walk forward with a lightness I almost forgot was possible. Father, even after cleansing and renewal, there is still a part of me that longs for certainty, for clear signs, for visible answers, for obvious confirmation that I am on the right path. But you have not promised me a spotlight. You have promised to be with me, and as I sit in the quiet of this morning, I am learning that trust is not about seeing everything clearly. It is about choosing to follow you when I cannot. There are days, Lord, When the way ahead feels hidden behind fog, I step out hoping for solid ground, but it feels like walking across a moving floor. I want to believe that I am exactly where I need to be, but my thoughts pull me toward doubt. I want to know that I am making the right decisions, that I am in the right place, that I have not missed something. But sometimes, all I have is the next small step, and you keep reminding me that is enough. God, teach me to be okay with not knowing. Not in a way that gives up, but in a way that leans in. I do not want blind optimism. I want anchored faith. I want to walk through uncertainty with a deep sense that even if the path twists, you are still guiding, even if I can see 5 steps ahead. The one in front of me is lit by your presence. Even when I do not feel steady, you remain unmoved. I have spent too much energy trying to force clarity, trying to build plans that remove all risk, trying to control what was never mine. But what if the fog is not a punishment? What if it is a gift that pulls me closer, that slows me down, that silences every other voice so I can lean into yours? Maybe it is not about the lack of vision. Maybe it is about the opportunity to walk by faith. There is something sacred about trusting you in the unclear. It is not glamorous. It is not loud, but it is real. It is where I choose you over my own understanding. It is where I stop worshiping answers and start resting in presence. It is where I finally let go of the myth that I need to know everything to walk confidently. Maybe confidence is not found in knowing the destination, but in knowing the one who walks with me. Father, I confess that I often pray for clarity while secretly demanding control. I ask for peace, but I want guarantees. I say I trust you, but I still check for escape routes. I call you my shepherd, but I want to approve the map. Help me to release this grip. Help me to stop evaluating my security by how much I can see. Let me trust like the trees trust the morning light, even before it rises. Let me believe like the earth trusts the rain to return. Let me wait with hope, not with panic. Let my faith grow stronger in the silence than it ever did in the noise. Even when I do not know how it is going to work out, let me speak truth to my own doubt. You are faithful. You have always made a way. You have led me through darker valleys than this. You have whispered comfort when everything else was unclear, and you will do it again. If I have to walk slowly today, let it be a pace that honors trust, not fear. If I have to pause often to ask for direction, let that be part of the rhythm, not something I resent. I do not want to rush ahead just to feel in control. I want to stay in sync with you. Father, remind me that trust is active, that every time I choose peace over panic, I am exercising faith, that every time I worship in the middle of confusion, I am declaring that you are still good, that every time I say yes to the unseen, I am choosing to believe that you are not hiding but leading. Some days the cloud lifts, and everything becomes clear. Other days it stays, and all I have is your whisper. Help me cherish both. Help me stop measuring my spiritual strength by how much I can predict. Let me instead measure it by how willing I am to obey when I do not have all the details. Let my trust be evident in how I speak, in how I wait, in how I treat others, in how I carry myself when things do not go as planned. Let it shine in the quiet confidence that says, I may not know what is next, but I know who holds me now. That kind of trust changes how I move through this world. God, if I lose my footing today, remind me it is okay to stumble. If I face decisions that feel too big for me, help me remember that nothing is too big for you. If my heart races with questions, meet me in the stillness and slow me down. Remind me that you are not just the God of outcomes. You are the God of right now. Right now, I do not have all the answers. Right now, I still feel unsure, but I also feel your presence. I sense your nearness in this surrender, and that is enough. That is more than enough. I will not demand what you have not given. I will trust that what I need will come when it is needed. Let today be shaped not by how much I see, but by how deeply I trust. Let my actions reflect surrender. Let my prayers reflect belief. Let my thoughts reflect hope, not because everything makes sense, but because I am learning that peace does not come from perfect understanding it. It comes from staying close to you. I will walk with open hands. I will speak with gentle confidence. I will breathe deeply, even in the fog. And I will remember that trust is not about pretending I am not afraid. It is about believing that you are still leading, even when I feel unsure. Father, in the places where vision is clouded, plant deep roots of faith. In the spaces where questions still linger, fill me with a calm that cannot be explained. In the moments when I long for certainty, draw me deeper into communion. Let this trust be the legacy I build. Not shallow comfort, but deep resilience. Not false confidence, but holy dependence. And so I continue forward not with perfect vision, but with a steady heart, not with answers, but with alignment, not with clarity, but with courage to follow anyway. Because you are here, because you are good, because I believe that trusting you in the fog is as holy as praising you in the light. Father, now that I have stepped deeper into trusting you through the fog, I feel something stirring in my heart, a quiet realization, a gentle ache. There are still places in me that have wandered, places that drifted far from where I first met you. I may not have run loudly, but I have drifted silently. And now, in the hush of this morning, I feel you calling me back not with shame, but with kindness, not with judgment, but with invitation. God, I have known you. I have seen you move. I have tasted grace, walked in light, stood on promises. And yet, somewhere along the way, I let other voices get louder. I let weariness settle in. I stopped coming to you like I used to. I filled my days with distraction, trying to quiet the deeper longing, but nothing else satisfies. Nothing fills the space that was carved out for you. So here I am, not running anymore. Turning, returning, bringing back every part of me that lost its way, bringing back the pieces I scattered, the parts I hid, the dreams I set aside, the hunger I once had. You never left, even when I did. You never stopped watching. Even when I stopped looking, you stayed close. Even when I drifted far. And now I come home, not as a stranger, but as a child finding their way back into familiar arms. Lord, I do not return to perform. I do not come back to earn. I come because I miss you. I come because my soul knows where it belongs. I come not for a reset, but for a restoration. I do not want to just feel better. I want to be real again. Aligned again. Whole again. You know where my heart wandered. You saw the small compromises, the moments I chose my way instead of yours, the times I made decisions from fear instead of faith. I confess those things now, not to be crushed by them, but to be freed from them. I do not want anything to stand between us. Not pride, not guilt, not shame disguised as independence. I have tried carrying my life on my own terms. I have tried making my own map. I have chased what looked good and found myself emptier. And in the stillness, I see clearly again, you were the only source that ever brought peace. You were the only voice that ever brought life. You were the only place I have ever felt fully known and fully safe. So I return to the quiet, to the altar, to the rhythm of walking with you daily. I return to truth, to surrender, to worship without walls. I return to mornings like this one, where my soul remembers its home, God. I know returning does not mean I have all the answers now. I know the journey back may not feel easy, but I also know that every step toward you is met with mercy. I know you do not ask me to clean myself up before I come close. You clean me as I come. You meet me where I am and walk with me the rest of the way. Let today be a turning point, not just a passing moment. Let it be the start of walking closely again, hearing clearly again, responding quickly again. Let it be the day I draw near not just with my words, but with my whole life. And when the past tries to haunt me, when regret whispers that I have gone too far, remind me of who you are. Remind me of the Father who runs to meet the child returning. Remind me of the embrace that silences accusation. Remind me that restoration is not earned, it is received. Father, I do not want to carry what you have already forgiven. I do not want to rehearse what you have already redeemed. Help me release the version of myself that lived apart from you. Help me forgive myself for the time I spent wandering, not to excuse it, but to stop living there. You make all things new. That includes me. There are parts of my calling I have ignored, dreams I buried under fear, convictions I softened to avoid confrontation. But you are stirring them again. You are reigniting what went dim. You are reclaiming territory I gave away, not to shame me, but to reawaken me. And I say yes. I say yes to the discomfort of obedience. I say yes to the courage of return. Even now, I can feel you drawing me not back to who I was, but forward into who I was always becoming. You do not just restore me to the past. You redeem me for what is next. I may have wandered, but you never stopped weaving my story. And now, as I come home to you, I find that you are already preparing a place for me. Lord, rebuild what was broken, replant what was uprooted, rekindle what went cold. Let my life begin again, not from scratch, but from grace. Let every moment moving forward carry the weight of this return. Let my decisions reflect the nearness of your voice. Let my pace reflect the steadiness of your presence. I won't rush past this. I want to treat this return as just another emotional moment. I will live from it. I will build from it. I will remember what it feels like to come back and be received, not with suspicion, but with love, not with conditions, but with open arms. Thank you for being the kind of God who welcomes wanderers, who rescues prodigals, who restores not just what was lost, but what was wasted. You redeem time. You redeem detours. You redeem hearts. And now, you are redeeming mine. Let this return change how I pray, how I listen, how I serve, how I love. Let it reset the foundation beneath me, not with fear, but with grace. Let it be a beginning that echoes through every part of my life, a quiet turning that leads to loud transformation. And when the days ahead bring challenges, when I feel pulled to drift again, remind me of this moment. Remind me that returning to you is always possible. Always welcome, always worth it. Let my life be marked by many returns, many renewals, many yeses that lead me back to the only place I am ever truly whole, your presence. Father, now that I have turned back into the warmth of your presence, I feel something rising within me, something deeper than emotion, more solid than fleeting inspiration. It is a quiet recognition of who I truly am in you, and I realize, perhaps for the first time in a long while, how much I have been living beneath that truth. I have been walking through days with a dimmed view of myself, shaped more by memory and opinion than by the identity you already gave me. Lord, so much of my struggle has come from forgetting who I am. Not just forgetting intellectually, but living as though I am still bound by labels I should have left behind. I have let experiences write over my worth. I have let people's take root where only your truth belongs. I have allowed my failures to narrate a story you already rewrote. But I do not want to live like that anymore. You have called me by name, not the names others gave me, not the names shame whispered in the dark, but the name you spoke before I ever breathed, chosen, beloved, redeemed, child. This identity is not based on how I feel when I wake up or how well I perform through the day. It is not conditional. It is sealed. It is anchored in something finished, not something I still have to earn. I have tried to define myself by what I do, by who accepts me, by what I achieve or what I fail to become. But none of those things were ever meant to carry that kind of weight. They shift too easily. They crumble too quickly. I am tired of letting my identity rise and fall with circumstances. I want to be rooted in truth that does not change with seasons. So I speak it aloud today, not because you need to hear it, but because I do. I am not who I used to be. I am not what I did. I am not what was done to me. I am not what I fear. I am not my worst day. I am not my best performance. I am not the opinion of the crowd. I am not my reputation. I am yours. And that changes everything. God, remind me again of what you say about me when the voices around me grow loud, when comparison creeps in and tells me I am not enough, when shame resurfaces, trying to pull me back into old patterns, when I look in the mirror and only see flaws. Cut through all of that with the clarity of your word. Remind me that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that I have been set apart, that I am called with purpose and crowned with compassion. That I carry the light of your Spirit within me. Let that identity shape how I show up in the world today. Let it steady my voice when I feel overlooked. Let it hold my heart when rejection knocks again. Let it guide my decisions, my posture, my presence. I do not want to shrink to fit the comfort of others. I do not want to bend under the pressure of expectations you never gave me. I want to live fully as the person you designed and delight in. Father, I know this identity is more than a title. It is a transformation. It is a new nature. And it is a battle to remember it when everything around me seems to pull me back into the old. So help me to speak it until I believe it, to declare it until it becomes instinct. Let my words align with truth. Let my thoughts rise to match what you have already spoken. When I am tempted to disqualify myself because of past choices, remind me that grace rewrites the story. When I feel small in a room full of noise, remind me that I carry the presence of the Most High. When I am unsure of my voice or afraid to take space, remind me that I have been given authority, not timidity. I have been filled with power, love, and a sound mind. Let this identity shine not in arrogance, but in confidence humble. Anchored, radiant. Let it be seen in the way I forgive freely, in the way I love deeply, in the way I walk away from what no longer reflects who I am in you. Let it be heard in how I speak to myself, in how I talk about others, in how I declare life over what still looks dead. I won't live in hiding anymore. I won't shrink to survive. I won't silence what you have called to speak. I want to settle for less when you have already named me here. I want to keep borrowing labels from the world when heaven already sealed mine. And when today brings challenges, I want to face them wondering if I am strong enough. I will remember that I am not fighting for identity. I am fighting from identity. I do not have to prove my place at your table. You invited me. You made room. You call me son. You call me daughter. You call me yours. Lord, rebuild what insecurity tried to destroy. Replace the lies I agreed with long ago. Heal the wounds that distorted how I see myself. Restore the image you first spoke over me, the one that looks like freedom, like grace, like someone fully alive in you. If I forget later today, remind me gently. If I start to shrink back, draw me near again. If I question my worth, let your Spirit answer before my fears do. I want to walk in the boldness of someone who knows they are seen, chosen, and loved beyond comprehension. Let that knowing soften my heart, sharpen my vision, and strengthen my steps. Let it be the root beneath every act of obedience, the fuel behind every word of encouragement, the anchor when everything else starts to shake. And in every quiet moment, when the day tries to wear me down or convince me I am not enough, let me return to this. I am in Christ. I am a new creation. The old has gone. The new has come. And no circumstance can undo what you have already declared true. I am who you say I am. That will always be enough. Father, as the truth of my identity settles deeper into my spirit, I realize how much I have tried to carry in my own strength. Even knowing who I am in you, I often find myself slipping back into the habit of control, gripping tightly to the plans I have made, the outcomes I expect, the timing I think is right, and in doing so, I trade your peace for anxiety, your rest for striving, your way for mine. But today, I do not want to walk forward with clenched fists. I want to walk open-handed, surrendered, trusting. You never asked me to have it all figured out. You never required me to orchestrate every detail. You only invited me to follow. Yet my human heart still craves certainty. I want to know what is next, to see the full map before I take the first step. But you call me to walk by faith, not by sight. You call me to release the illusion of control and embrace the adventure of trust. Lord, there are parts of my life where I have grown weary from trying to fix, force, or forecast. Areas where I have clung too tightly to what used to work, or pushed too hard for doors that refuse to open. I confess the impatience, the frustration, the discouragement that rises when things do not go the way I hoped. But I also confess this truth. You are still God when the plans shift. You are still good when the timeline delays. You are still near when the way feels uncertain. Help me loosen my grip. Help me surrender not just the hard parts, but even the dreams I hold dear. Let me not idolize my own vision or chase what I think will satisfy, but instead return everything back into your hands. The job opportunities I crave, the relationships I long to restore, the healing I am praying to see, the future I try to forecast. You see the whole story, and you know the path that leads to purpose and peace. There is freedom in surrender, even when fear tries to convince me otherwise. There is clarity in letting go, even when confusion clouds my mind. There is power in saying, not my will, but yours be done. And when I choose to trust you with what I cannot control, I am reminded that I was never meant to carry the weight of the world. You are already holding it. God, show me how to walk through this day without striving. Let me show up fully present, not distracted by what I cannot yet solve. Let me respond to moments instead of trying to manipulate them. Let me love people instead of trying to change them. Let me give without demanding return. Let me live without needing to predict what tomorrow will bring. When I feel tempted to take back control through worry, through busyness, through perfectionism, interrupt my thoughts with your calm whisper. Tell me again that you are already in the future, that you are not rushed, that you are not confused, that you do not need my control to accomplish your purposes. Let that truth anchor my soul. And Father, as I surrender, help me to find joy in the process, not just in the arrival, not just in the answered prayer or the completed chapter, but in the waiting, in the learning, in the hidden places where transformation happens slowly and quietly. Let me find beauty in the becoming, not just in the outcome. Teach me that process is not punishment, it is preparation. It is where roots grow deep. It is where character is shaped. It is where I learn to lean, not just walk. I release the deadlines I placed on you, the ultimatums I whispered in desperation, the expectations I crafted out of fear. I release the comparisons that told me I am behind. I release the shame that said I should be farther along. I release the pride that insists I must do it all alone. I release the lie that I am responsible for making everything happen. Instead, I take your yoke upon me light, gentle, full of grace. I choose to walk at your pace, listen for your steps, and trust the turns even when they make no sense to me. I do not need to control every chapter when I know the author. I do not need to understand every detour when I trust the guide. I do not need to fear missing out when I know you will lead me in your perfect timing. Help me to embrace each part of this journey, even when it is slow, even when it is unfamiliar. Let me wake up each day not panic about what needs to be fixed, but peaceful in the truth that you are already working, even in what I cannot see. Help me to rest in the truth that progress does not always look loud or fast. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is subtle. Sometimes it is just the courage to keep showing up. Remind me that trust is not passive, it is active surrender. It is the decision to walk forward, step by step, even when the path is not clear. It is choosing to build when the outcome is not guaranteed. It is planting seeds without seeing fruit. It is believing that your hand is still moving when everything feels still. Lord, if I ever begin to question whether you are really working, help me look back. Let me remember the times you carried me through uncertainty, through loss, through detours that turned into blessings. Let me remember the breakthroughs that only came after surrender. Let me remember that I never once walked alone. And let that remembrance fuel fresh trust today. Not trust that things will be easy, but trust that you will be present. Not trust that I will always understand, but trust that you always see. Not trust in a predictable life, but trust in a faithful God. I do not want to waste this day trying to manage what is beyond me. I want to lean into it with open hands and a trusting heart. I want to see the joy in simple obedience. I want to respond with yes, even when I do not know the whole plan. I want to believe that you are not just good in hindsight, but you are good right here, in the middle, in the process, in the waiting. So I place my thoughts, my hopes, my concerns, and my plans before you. Take them. Shape them. Use them or redirect them. Whatever you choose, I will follow, because I have seen too much of your faithfulness to doubt you now. I have tasted too much of your goodness to turn away. I may not know what this day will hold, but I know who holds me through it, and that is enough. Lord, even as I offer my life into your hands again this morning, there is still a quiet ache within me that longs for clarity. After surrendering my desires and laying down my own timelines, there remains the stillness of not knowing. It is here, in the silence between steps, that I need your comfort the most, and so I lean in again, not to ask for full understanding, but to be held steady by your presence. I admit there are times the waiting feels like wandering, when I wake up and follow where you lead, yet the way ahead still feels veiled. I am not lost, but I am not sure where I am going either, and that uncertainty tries to unravel my peace. But God, you did not promise a life without mystery. You promised your presence within it. You never said every answer would come quickly. You said your grace would be sufficient while I wait. So today, in this space between my questions and your answers, I ask for the courage to trust, not a surface-level belief that everything will work out eventually, but a deep, unwavering trust that even this unknown season holds purpose. Teach me how to rest in your nearness, even when the path makes no sense. Let my trust not be built on outcomes, but on who you are. There is something sacred about not having all the answers. In this place, I learn to listen more closely. I learn to watch for small signs of your hand. I learn to let go of my illusions of control and instead draw near to you in full dependence. This is where intimacy with you grows, not in certainty, but in surrender, not in control, but in companionship. And while I wait for answers, you are giving me something greater, the assurance that I am not walking this alone. Father, help me not to despise the quiet seasons. Help me not to rush ahead of your pace, just to silence the discomfort of the unknown. If this delay is protecting me from something not yet ready, let me be grateful. If this waiting is building something stronger in me, let me lean into it fully. If this stillness is where you want to speak, let my heart be attentive. I confess that sometimes I mistake waiting for inaction, that I feel restless when I cannot measure progress. But you do not waste time. You are never idle. While I may not see the movement, you are aligning details beyond what I can grasp. You are cultivating strength in the unseen places. You are preparing doors I do not yet know I will walk through. And you are preparing me, shaping my heart, teaching me to depend not on signs, but on your steady voice. Help me to stop searching for shortcuts to peace. Let me find it instead in your promises. When anxiety whispers that I am behind, remind me that I am not on anyone else's schedule. I am being led by your spirit, not pushed by pressure. When fear tells me the silence means you have forgotten me, remind me that your silence is not absence. It is often the space where trust is refined and hope matures. And Lord, in this space, give me a renewed vision for what trust really looks like, not just patience, but perseverance, not just stillness, but attentiveness. Let me be present here, instead of always looking ahead. Let me see the gifts you have hidden in today, the people you have placed in my path, the moments of beauty that are easy to miss when I am chasing what is next. Let this season of uncertainty become a classroom where I learn to love without guarantees, to hope without evidence, and to walk with you without knowing the final destination. Remind me that faith is not a formula. It is not about doing the right things to get the outcome I want. It is about relationship. It is about drawing near when I have no clarity, and choosing to stay when I have no map. It is about knowing that your presence is my provision, and that your peace can hold me even when the questions remain. Let my prayers in this season shift from God. Tell me what is next to God. Help me trust you now. Let my heart posture be less about planning and more about abiding. Let me be still enough to notice the nudges of your spirit, to follow even when the steps feel small or strange. Let obedience become my offering, even when understanding is delayed. Lord, if I never get the answers I hope for, may I still walk with joy. If the path twists and turns in ways I did not expect, May I still believe you are good, if today brings more questions than resolutions. Let me be anchored in the truth that you are not confused, you are not surprised, and you are still leading me with wisdom and compassion that surpasses my own understanding. I choose again today to lean into you, not because I have all the details, but because I know who you are. I know you are faithful to finish what you start. I know you are kind even when life is not. I know you are working in ways I cannot yet see. And I know that my story is safest in your hands, even when it does not unfold the way I imagined. So I demand answers today. I will seek alignment with your will. I chase certainty. I will chase closeness with you. I try to predict or plan my way into peace. I will pause and breathe and trust that you are already where I am going. That your goodness is not waiting at the end of the journey. It is woven into every step along the way. In this quiet place of not knowing, I find you again, closer than my breath, steadier than my emotions, wiser than my questions, and more loving than I could ever deserve. So I will walk forward, even if the path is foggy. I will keep going, even if I can yet see the next turn. I will trust, not because I feel brave, but because I am held. This day is not mine to control, but it is mine to offer, and I give it to you, fully, again, Lord. You know how often I wrestle with timing. The desire to move forward, to resolve things quickly, to see results instantly, it presses heavily against my spirit. But in this quiet hour, still fresh with morning light, I return to you and to the patience you model. Because just as the previous moments led me here, you are still drawing me onward, not through haste, but through surrender. Help me live from a place of trust in your timing. Not mine. I am learning, slowly and deeply, that waiting on you is not the same as doing nothing. It is a posture of faith, quiet strength wrapped in expectancy. God, steady my heart when I feel rushed by the noise of the world. You do not rush your creations. You took time sculpting the mountains, carving rivers, hanging stars in vast skies. You are the God of order and process, not panic. Teach me to mirror that. Let me not be swayed by urgency that is not rooted in your purpose. Even when I feel behind, remind me that I am on no one else's schedule but yours. Remind me that being still with you is not a delay, is preparation. It is alignment, and it is holy. When I feel discouraged by what has not happened yet, whisper gently into the places I hide my disappointment. Speak softly into the shadowed corners of hope deferred, and remind me that nothing is wasted in you. Not the waiting, not the wondering, not the longing. All of it matters when it is placed into your hands. You hold time itself. So why should I fear its passage when I walk with the one who authored it? Lord, when others race ahead or seem to find favor faster, let me bless them without bitterness. Let comparison fall off of me like rain on glass. Let their winds never diminish your goodness in my story. I do not want to measure myself against anyone else's timeline. You wrote mine uniquely. Help me honor it without shame. Help me embrace my pace, because it was chosen by the one who sees the end from the beginning. You never hurry, but you are never late. Father, in these waiting seasons, Plant resilience inside me. Let my roots grow deeper even when my branches feel bare. Let me not just pass time, but become more like you in the process. Grow my character, grow my kindness, grow my understanding of who you are and who I am in you. Let me love the becoming, not just the arriving. Let me delight in the journey, even if the destination still feels far away. When the road stretches long and lonely, keep me company. Walk beside me and help me recognize the gifts hidden along the way. A smile from a stranger, a song I needed to hear. The sunrise, I almost missed all of it, evidence that you are not only at the end of my story, but present in every unfolding step. Let me not overlook the blessings dressed in ordinary moments. Sometimes, those are the most sacred. God, give me vision in the waiting, eyes to see not only what I hope for, but what you are doing right now. Dante, let me miss your hand simply because it is moving slowly. Teach me to look deeper. Teach me to celebrate progress, no matter how small. Every breath taken in your presence is a miracle. Every act of trust is a victory. Help me measure today not by tasks completed, but by the peace I carried in my soul while doing them. When anxiety wants to fill the silence, fill it with truth instead. When doubt tries to write its own ending, remind me you are still writing. I do not need to know the whole path to take the next step. And when I stumble, when I grow weary, when I question what is taking so long, meet me there, in the pause, in the in-between, in the space that often feels empty, but is rich with unseen purpose. Lord, thank you for not rushing me. Thank you for not judging my delays, for not turning away when I grow impatient. Your love does not operate on performance. Your approval is not earned through speed. You are patient with me. So let me be patient with you. Let me sit with you, not because everything is resolved, but because you are enough, even the questions. Let peace rise up from that truth alone. Teach me the strength of quiet trust, the kind that does not demand answers, but rests in your presence. The kind that sings softly in the dark, confident that morning will come again. Let my waiting be worship. Let my stillness be sacred. And let my faith be fueled not by what I see, but by who I know you to be. In this moment, I lay down every deadline I have imposed. I lay down every frustration, every fear of falling behind. I hold out my empty hands and ask you to fill them, what you have always promised, your peace that passes understanding, your joy that defies circumstances, your love that never fails. You are not slow to fulfill your promises. You are preparing me for the fullness of them. You are faithful to complete what you have begun in me. So even now, as I wait, I will choose to believe that something beautiful is unfolding. And even if I can't see it yet, I know you are already there. God, as the echoes of my previous thoughts still stir within me, I turn my heart once more toward you with a longing that continues to deepen. My soul stretches forward, seeking not only understanding, but a more joyful posture, a heart full of gratitude and hope that radiates out into the world. There is a softness you are growing within me, a lightness of spirit that I cannot manufacture alone. Father, I bring to you the parts of my heart that are still burdened by yesterday, by doubts that cling and shadows that try to linger in the corners of my mind. And yet, In this early morning light, I sense you stirring joy within me, a joy not based on circumstance, but rooted in your unchanging presence. Even when my feet feel heavy or my thoughts feel scattered, you remind me that joy is not the absence of trial, but the presence of your goodness in the midst of it all. I want to live today not dragging my heart through duty, but lifting it through praise. I ask you to flood me with gratitude, to make me sensitive to every grace hidden in the small moments, a kind word, a warm breeze, the comfort of stillness, or the strength to keep going. God, help me to remember that gratitude multiplies joy, and joy brings life. Let me not rush past blessings, because I am too distracted to notice them. Let me slow down enough to savor the sweetness of what you provide. With every breath I take, remind me that each inhale is a gift and every exhale an offering. I do not want to live reactive, waiting for things to go my way in order to be thankful. No, I want to live rooted in the awareness that you are with me. And that is reason enough for joy to bloom, regardless of what today may hold. Teach me to see hope not as a distant wish, but as a steady companion. Hope that does not depend on the headlines or my emotions, but on your promises that do not change. When I wake, let my first instinct be delight, not dread. Let my heart not brace for harm, but believe in blessing. Fill me with a hope so rich and resilient that it becomes a refuge not just for me, but for those around me who are weary and looking for light. Sometimes I find it hard to hold on to joy. It slips through my fingers like water when I try to grasp it too tightly. But when I release my grip, when I open my hands to you and surrender, you fill them again. Remind me that I was never meant to carry everything, that joy is not found in being in control, but in trusting you fully. Let me wake up each day not with a clenched soul, but a heart wide open to wonder. Father, heal the places in me where cynicism has replaced childlike faith. I do not want to be hardened by disappointments or numbed by routine. I ask you to make me tender again. Give me the courage to expect good things, not because life always cooperates, but because you are always working things for good. Renew in me that quiet anticipation that maybe today something beautiful might bloom where I least expect it. Keep me from becoming so self-focused that I miss the divine fingerprints you are leaving all around me. Where I have grown weary, breathe fresh hope into my chest. Where bitterness has tried to lodge itself in me, flush it out with gratitude. I want to respond to challenges not with complaint, but with perspective, to trials not with defeat, but with curiosity about what you are cultivating through them. Shift my focus from what I lack to the abundance already in my hands. Let me live not from scarcity, but from the richness of your mercy and favor. God, take the corners of my day and infuse them with purpose, even in tasks that feel mundane. Awaken my soul to your nearness. Let me walk through each moment not in haste, but in sacred awareness. Give me joy that sings softly beneath the noise. Let it rise like incense from my heart, steady and real, touching everything I do with a gentle, holy fire. Teach me that gratitude is not merely a feeling, but a lens through which to view the world. When I feel tempted to compare my journey with someone else's, remind me that my story with you is enough, that you write beauty into every chapter, even the ones that do not look like I expected. Help me resist the pull of jealousy and instead rejoice in the victories of others, knowing that your goodness is not limited or divided. Expand my heart so it has room to celebrate freely. Let my thoughts be soaked in thankfulness. Let my words echo with encouragement. Let my countenance reflect the peace that hope brings. When the enemy whispers scarcity, let me answer with remembrance of your faithfulness. When discouragement tries to cloud my vision, let joy clear the air like the breaking of dawn. Father, you know the battles I face. You know the ones I never speak of. And yet, you offer joy not as a denial of those battles, but as a weapon against despair. Let joy be my defiance. Let hope be my strategy. Let gratitude be my anthem. I want to rise above worry not because it is easy, but because I am anchored in you. I choose today to put on joy as a garment, even if it feels unfamiliar. I choose to smile even when I feel unsure, not because everything is perfect, but because you are perfectly with me. Lord, show me how to be a joy bringer in a world often heavy with burdens. Let my presence lift atmospheres. Let my laughter be contagious. Let my peace be unshakable. When people encounter me today, may they taste something of you, your kindness, your calm, your assurance. I do not need a loud platform to make a difference. I need a heart full of you, overflowing with the fruit of joy. Help me cultivate rhythms of gratitude, not just spontaneous moments, but intentional habits. Maybe that means whispering thanks when I wake, or jotting down the gifts I notice. Maybe it means telling someone how much I appreciate them, or simply smiling when I want to complain. Whatever it looks like, make it real, make it mine. Let me be known as someone who overflows with grace and who chooses joy, even when it costs something. God, remind me that each new day is a canvas, and joy is the paint. Gratitude is the brush. Hope is the sunlight that illuminates it all. Let me create something today that honors you, something bright and bold and real. I do not want to live half-hearted. I want to be fully alive in every interaction, every thought, every moment. And even if this day holds more challenges than victories, more silence than songs, let my joy remain. Let it be rooted so deeply in you that no wind can uproot it. Let it shine quietly in the cracks. Proof that you are still working, still loving, still enough. I do not want to wait for joy. I want to live it. Speak it. Carry it like a lantern through dark places. Thank you for teaching me that hope is never wasted, and joy is always possible when I walk with you. Lord, as my soul continues to walk gently through this morning's quiet reflections, I carry the peace you have poured into me, and yet I know peace must often be protected. The calm you plant within my heart becomes the armor I wear as I step into a world full of unseen battles. The path ahead may look ordinary, but hidden within its hours are moments that will call upon courage, patience, and grace beyond my own strength. And so, before I take another step, I lean wholly on you, the source of unwavering strength, to hold me steady when I cannot see the full picture. I acknowledge, Lord, that not every struggle shows itself with warning. Some enter like shadows, unannounced, cloaked in disguise, tempting me to act out of fear, frustration, or pride. But with you anchoring my spirit, I do not have to react with anxiety. Instead, I can respond with wisdom. I ask for eyes that recognize when the conflict is not with people, but with pressures deeper and darker than what appears on the surface. Teach me to discern spiritual tension and to respond not in flesh, but in spirit. Even in conversations, Lord, where words are misunderstood or where offense lies unspoken, I ask you to stand between me and the temptation to defend myself unnecessarily. Be the gatekeeper of my tongue. Be the guardian of my reactions. Wrap your presence around my emotions, so I do not become vulnerable to manipulation, provocation, or pride. Help me to carry an atmosphere of heaven even into rooms that feel far from peaceful. And when criticism comes, whether spoken outright or laced in subtle gestures, give me grace not to be wounded by it, but rather to extract any truth with humility and release the rest without bitterness. Let me not build invisible walls to shield myself from others, but instead anchor my worth so deeply in you that no one's disapproval can uproot the joy you have placed in me. Father, there are moments when I may find myself isolated not physically, but emotionally misunderstood or unseen. And in those quiet aches of the soul, remind me that you see everything. You are the God who draws near when no one else notices the tears behind my smile or the tiredness beneath my strength. Remind me that my worth is not tied to applause or acknowledgement, but to the unchanging truth that I am known by you, loved by you, and assigned by you to be here today. God, if there are people who enter my day carrying their own burdens and projecting them onto others, help me not to absorb what was never mine to carry. Let me offer compassion without entanglement. Teach me to establish healthy boundaries rooted in love, and to say no without guilt when my yes would come at the cost of peace you entrusted to me. May I walk in kindness, but never compromise the clarity you have given me for the comfort of others' expectations. And if today includes moments of unfairness, betrayal, or delay, remind me that even these are tools you allow to sharpen my spirit. Let me be the kind of person who does not just react to life, but who reflects your character through every test. When I am tempted to complain, remind me to worship. When I feel like giving up, whisper truth that realigns my focus with eternity. When I am weary, pull me into the stillness where I am reminded again that I am not alone. Lord, strengthen me not just for obvious battles, but for the hidden ones, the internal choices between fear and faith, resentment and forgiveness, impulse and patience. Give me the spiritual stamina to choose love even when love is not returned. Give me the vision to see beyond the offense and into the pain of those who cause it, so I may serve even those who challenge me with grace that defies the logic of this world. If I pass by someone who is silently suffering, give me eyes to see past their mask. Let me offer words that lift, not burden, a look that reassures, not dismisses, a presence that brings stillness, not tension. Let your spirit in me become a refuge for others, even if for a moment. And if today I am the one who is quietly struggling, remind me not to wear shame, but instead to reach out to you in honesty and boldness, knowing that you do not condemn my weakness, but meet it with mercy. There will be moments, Father, when I will be tempted to fix things too quickly, to rush answers, to strive for control. But you have called me to live from a place of trust, not tension. You are not asking me to solve every problem today. You are asking me to trust you with each step. So I surrender my need to always understand. I surrender the urge to overplan. I surrender the voice of perfectionism that tells me I am only as valuable as my output. Instead, I welcome your rhythm of grace, where obedience matters more than outcome. If part of today's struggle includes facing past failures or regrets, I ask you to cover them once again in your mercy. Let shame not take root where forgiveness has already been given. Show me how to move forward without dragging yesterday's chains into today's opportunity. You are the God who makes all things new, not just in grand gestures, but in quiet daily resurrections of hope, courage, and identity. And Lord, I ask that you help me to be alert to recognize when heaviness tries to sneak in, when lies try to pose as truth, when fear masquerades as logic. Let me be rooted so deeply in your truth that I no longer mistake anxiety for responsibility or worry for wisdom. May my discernment grow sharper through intimacy with you, not through fear of the future. Replace every silent dread with still confidence. Let my strength today be the kind that does not shout, but stands, the kind that does not demand, but endures, the kind that does not seek revenge, but releases. Let my faith not be performative, but anchored, even when I do not feel strong. Remind me that strength is not always loud, it is the choice to rise again and again, with my eyes fixed on you, in the places where I am assigned today. May I not strive to be impressive, but faithful. May I carry your presence more than I carry my own opinions. May I be known not for my cleverness, but for my kindness. May my reactions preach a better sermon than my words. And may the fragrance of my life leave behind evidence that you were here with me, in me, working through me. So as the minutes unfold and the world awakens around me, I walk forward not with the pressure to perform, but with the peace that I am carried. I rise not because I have everything figured out, but because I trust the one who walks beside me, equipping me with all I need for what lies ahead. And that is enough. Lord, the breath I draw this morning feels heavier than most, not because the air has changed, but because the weight within me has not yet lifted. And yet, even as I inhale with this silent H, I know you are not distant. You are not unfamiliar with awareness, nor are you unmoved by the quiet exhaustion that builds not just in my body, but in the corners of my spirit that long for rest deeper than sleep can give. I come to you not with perfect composure, but with honesty, trusting that you receive me not as I pretend to be, but as I truly am. And in that truth, I am drawn back to the comfort that you are not a God who waits for strength to appear before you arrive. You enter the room when my knees buckle, not when they stand. As the hours unfold ahead of me, I ask you to plant within me the type of endurance that does not rely on momentum, but on trust. I am not asking for ease, I am asking for resilience that does not dissolve when the skies dim or when voices fail to affirm me. I am asking for a rootedness that remembers your voice even when the noise around me grows louder. I have chased too many things trying to prove that I am strong enough, capable enough, brave enough. But what I truly need is to believe that I am not disqualified by my limits. I need to believe that my weakness is not a sign of failure, but an invitation for your grace to go deeper than my own striving ever could. God, help me silence the inner critic who demands perfection. I have listened too long to the lie that I must earn my place through performance. But your presence is not a reward for the flawless. It is a refuge for the surrendered. I want to be found not among the proud, but among those who know how to kneel, how to whisper for help when the world says shout louder, and how to keep loving even when it costs me comfort or applause. I want to build a rhythm of endurance that is not tied to external validation, but to the quiet knowing that you walk beside me even when no one sees the path I am walking. Lord, I lift to you the spaces in me that feel hollow, the dreams deferred, the prayers unanswered, the friendships strained, the battles that linger past their expected end. I give you my confusion, not because I expect all answers today, but because I trust that you are not threatened by my questions. You are patient with my process. You are kind in my becoming. You do not rush healing, and you do not despise slow growth. If all I do today is continue, then let that be enough. If all I can offer is showing up again, even without clarity, then meet me there. Make it holy. Make it sacred. Teach me to see that showing up in weakness is still worship when it is done with trust. And God, in the places where I have grown numb from long seasons of waiting, awaken me gently. Don't let disappointment harden me. Don't let delay convince me you have forgotten. Remind me that silence is not absence, that stillness is not stagnation. Remind me that roots grow in darkness, unseen, unnoticed, but essential. Let me not envy those who seem to move faster, achieve more, or sparkle in the spotlight. Let me be content to grow deeper rather than louder. I do not want to be admired. I want to be anchored. I want to be found faithful, even if no one else ever applauds it. Strengthen my hands for quiet faithfulness, the kind that shows up to love again after being hurt, to try again after falling short, to speak gently when bitterness would be easier. Make me resilient in the face of repetition. Let me find meaning in the mundane, where faith is forged not by grand gestures, but by daily surrender. Teach me that the miraculous is often wrapped in the ordinary, that holding steady in hardship is not less powerful than leaping forward in triumph. That sometimes endurance is not glorious but gritty, not radiant but resolute. Help me to forgive those who cannot see my burden, and help me not to resent those who seem to walk lighter. Comparison is a thief, and I have let it steal too many mornings. Reclaim them for me. Reclaim my wonder. Reclaim the beauty of simply being alive, of still having breath in my lungs, of still being held by a grace that has not let go of me. This journey is not a race to be won, but a walk with you that transforms me more with each step. Let that be enough today. And if I falter, remind me that faltering is not failure. If I pause, remind me that even stillness can be sacred. If I feel weak, remind me that you are never disillusioned by my humanity. You formed me with the full knowledge that I would need you. And still, you called me yours. Still, you chose me. Still, you breathe into me again this morning with the assurance that I am not behind. I am not broken beyond repair. I am becoming. So I walk forward not with bravado, but with quiet confidence, not because I hold all the answers, but because I am held by the one who does. I do not measure today by what I achieve, but by how closely I walk with you. Let that be the mark of a successful day, that I clung to you, listened for your whispers, responded with kindness, moved with integrity, and rested in the assurance that I was never alone. Let the light in my eyes today not be from perfection, but from peace. Let the calm in my steps come not from certainty, but from surrender. Let my joy not be tied to circumstances, but to the knowledge that no matter how long the road feels, I am not lost on it. You are my compass, my constant, my comfort, and in that truth, I find the courage to keep walking. I find the strength to trust again. I find the hope to endure, not for applause or resolution, but simply because you are worth walking with. Always, Lord, as I rise again with the echo of yesterday's faith still lingering in my soul, I bring to you this moment a sacred offering wrapped not in grandeur, but in surrender. The way you held me through the stillness of yesterday reminds me that your nearness does not always thunder. Sometimes it hums quietly beneath the noise, anchoring me with peace the world cannot imitate. You taught me that strength is not always found in motion, but often in the deliberate stillness of a trusting heart. And so, Father, I come to this morning not to strive, but to settle more deeply into you, to draw again from the well of your calm that never runs dry. As light stretches across the sky, I stretch my spirit toward you with each breath. I lean into the comfort that you are already present. You are not waiting at the finish line of my success, but here, beside me, before I even begin. Let my steps be steady not because the path is smooth, because I know you are my constant. Even when my thoughts tremble or when the future seems wrapped in fog, help me walk forward with the quiet assurance that I do not walk alone. Teach me to breathe deeply in moments of uncertainty, trusting that your presence is already ahead of me. May I move through this day not as one chasing validation, but as one anchored in belonging. Let me remember that I was never asked to prove my worth, only to remain connected to the one who calls me worthy. May I not be distracted by what I cannot control, but rooted in what you have already promised. So often my heart reaches for outcomes, for clarity, for guarantees. But this morning, I lay those cravings at your feet and ask instead for deeper trust. Trust that you are orchestrating something far greater than I can comprehend. Trust that delay does not mean denial. Trust that hiddenness is not absence. Let my heart lean into you more fully than the fear that whispers of failure. The world may define me by achievements, by speed, by outward victories, but you define me by surrender, by presence, by the unseen posture of my soul. Today, let me choose again the hidden strength of simply abiding in you. Let me choose joy that is not dependent on good news. Let me choose hope that does not wait for circumstances to align. Let me choose peace that flows not from perfection, but from proximity to you. Show me again how to find strength in stillness and purpose in pause. Let every interruption become an invitation to return to you. Let every frustration become an opportunity to choose grace. Let every delay remind me that nothing is out of sync in the hands of a sovereign God. Teach me to be okay with not knowing everything and still believe that I am being led. Help me listen beyond the surface of my worries to the deep assurance that you are still guiding. That even when the noise of life grows loud, your voice never competes, it waits for my attention. Let me be sensitive to your whispers today. Let me catch glimpses of your kindness in the ordinary. Let my heart not rush past moments where heaven brushes earth. Let this day unfold with the quiet courage that comes from walking with you, not for the approval of others. May I not live to impress, but to express what it means to be deeply known and deeply loved. Let the rhythm of my actions be set by grace, not by pressure. Let my soul be led by presence, not performance. May I rest in knowing that I do not have to rush to be worthy in your eyes. You already call me beloved. You are not measuring my pace, but holding my hand, not judging my delay, but inviting my attention, not expecting perfection, but offering peace in the process. Remind me that my pace is not proof of my faith, but that my posture of surrender is, even when progress feels invisible. Let me trust that growth is taking root. Even when answers do not come, let me believe that presence is enough. Even when doors stay closed, let me lean into the God who opens paths through deserts. Let my steps be steady not because the path is smooth, because I know you are my constant. Let the small, faithful choices I make today be seeds of unseen miracles. Let my yes in the quiet become the echo of your glory in ways I cannot yet understand. Let my heart lean into you more fully than the fear that whispers of failure. You have never once abandoned me in the places where I felt most fragile. Instead, you have met me there again and again, not with condemnation, but with comfort. Help me hold space for that memory. Let it become the lens through which I see every uncertainty. Help me listen beyond the surface of my worries to the deep assurance that you are still guiding. When I feel like giving up, let me hear again the still voice that reminds me who I am, whose I am. Let me hear again the call to be still and know not to perform, not to push, not to panic, but simply to know that you are God. Let my steps be steady not because the path is smooth, because I know you are my constant. And in this constant presence, let joy take root, joy not manufactured by circumstance but born from connection. Let it rise in me like a gentle stream, quiet, consistent, unshakable. May I not be distracted by what I cannot control, but rooted in what you have already promised. Promises that outlast disappointment. Promises that hold me when people fail me. Promises that do not waver with my emotions, but stand firm with eternal weight. Let this day unfold with the quiet courage that comes from walking with you, not for the approval of others. Let this courage be enough to say no when needed, to pause when others run, to trust when others fear. Let this courage look like gentleness in the face of stress, like compassion in the face of criticism, like faithfulness in the face of the unknown. Show me again how to find strength in stillness and purpose in pause. Remind me that just because the world moves fast does not mean I must. Just because others seem ahead does not mean I am behind. Let me stay in rhythm with your spirit, not the expectations of others. May I rest in knowing that I do not have to rush to be worthy in your eyes. You already call me beloved. Let that truth quiet every lie. Let that name drown out every label. Let that assurance carry me through this day. Gently, intentionally, unshaken. Lord, in the quiet unfolding of this morning, I continue to rest in the nearness of your spirit, drawing from the deep well of peace you poured into my soul just moments before. The reassurance you placed in my heart is still echoing, a steady rhythm that reminds me I am held, I am known, and I am never alone. Like a tender stream flowing from one bend to the next, I carry the softness of your grace with me, allowing it to guide my thoughts and actions as the light grows stronger around me. I do not rush, for your timing teaches me patience. I do not grasp, for your promises teach me trust. And I do not fear, for your love casts out all fear. With each breath I take, I draw in your wisdom, inhaling the calm that only you can give. Even when the world is loud with confusion and haste, you invite me to a stillness that humbles the heart. In that stillness, I hear what truly matters. I hear the whisper that says, I am yours. No matter what lies ahead, you are the one who calls me by name, who counts every hair on my head, who knew the number of my days before one of them came to be. You are the anchor that holds when everything around me trembles. You are the steady hand that lifts me when I stumble, and even in my silence, you remain faithful. Let this day be shaped not by fear or ambition, but by a quiet desire to walk with you. Let my motives be sifted through your truth, and my choices shaped by the gentleness of your voice. Speak louder than the noise of my doubts. Redirect my gaze when it begins to wander. Slow my heart when it races toward things that will never satisfy. Replace the chaos with clarity, the fear with courage, the pressure with peace. I give you my agendas, my to-do lists, my desire to control the outcome. Take them, Lord, and turn them into something sacred. You know every part of me, the exhausted corners, the hopeful places, the questions I can yet form. You know where I am strong and where I still fall short, and yet you never turn away. Instead, you invite me closer. You wrap your presence around my trembling and transform it into courage. I do not have to earn your love or strive for perfection to receive your attention. You are here, fully present, fully aware, and fully committed to walking this journey with me. I open my hands now to receive whatever you have planned for me today. If joy is in store, let it overflow. If challenge awaits, equip me to endure it with grace. If quiet work lies ahead, let it be done with love and integrity. And if opportunities to serve arise, let me meet them with humility and strength. Teach me to be kind without expectation, to listen without distraction, to speak without wounding, Fill me with a compassion that sees beyond what the eye can take in, a compassion that reflects the depth of your mercy. May my thoughts align with yours, not just in moments of prayer, but throughout every detail of this day. May I think on what is good and noble and right. May I resist the pull toward negativity and embrace the call to gratitude. Help me notice the beauty in small things, a kind word, the warmth of sunlight on my face, the laughter of someone I love. These are gifts too, often overlooked, yet they whisper of your goodness more clearly than any grand miracle. I place before you the hearts of those I love. I ask for protection over them, not just in body but in spirit. Guard their minds from discouragement. Heal their wounds, seen and unseen. Let them feel the weight of your love in ways that leave no room for doubt. Show me how to love them better. Show me how to show up, how to give freely, how to forgive even when it costs something. Let your love pour through me in a way that reaches the tired, the lonely, the ones who think they have been forgotten. And Father, if I grow weary as the hours stretch on, remind me to return to this moment. Bring back to mind the peace I felt as this day began. Let that peace be my compass. Let it draw me back to you again and again. No matter how far I wander in thought or in spirit, may your grace always guide me home. You do not grow tired of welcoming me back. You rejoice when I return, and in that truth I find rest. So I walk into this day grounded in something unshakable, not my circumstances, not my emotions, not the approval of others. I am grounded in you. I am rooted in the gentle strength of your presence, and that is enough. That will always be enough. Lord, the way you awaken my soul with gentleness after each long stretch of the night reminds me that no darkness lasts forever, just as the sun never forgets to rise. Neither do you forget to meet me with mercy. And as the quiet glow of morning settles over the earth, I sense the invitation to begin again, not out of obligation, but out of the overflow of love you have written into each new dawn. From the silence of the early light, I hear you saying, "Come as you are." And so I come, not polished, not perfect, but fully present, because you delight in honest hearts far more than flawless plans. There is something sacred about returning to you in this first hour, before the world has placed its demands on me. It is here, Lord, that I remember who I am before titles, tasks, or timelines try to define me. I am yours, loved not for what I will accomplish today, but for the simple fact that I exist in your gaze. And when I remember that truth, the burden lifts. There is freedom in knowing that I do not have to earn the sunrise or prove I am worthy of breath. It is all a gift, and I want to receive it as such, with hands unclenched and heart open wide. Even now, I begin to notice the quiet blessings that often pass by unnoticed: the warmth of a cup of coffee, the whisper of wind through the trees, the way light filters softly through the window. These small, steady graces are proof that joy does not always shout. Sometimes it simply waits to be seen. Lord, teach me to see. Let gratitude become the lens through which I view this day, not as something to survive, but as something to savor. Let me not rush past beauty in pursuit of business. Slow my spirit enough to linger where love lives. As I walk forward, May the posture of my heart be one of thankfulness that refuses to fade even in hardship. I know that gratitude is not based on circumstance, is built on trust. It is the discipline of looking beyond what I feel in the moment to the reality of who you are always. When stress rises and interruptions crowd in, help me to pause and remember the countless ways you have shown up before. Let remembrance become the foundation of my rejoicing. Give me the courage to express thanks even when I do not have answers. Let me sing when I do not yet see the solution. Fill me with the faith to celebrate in advance what you are already preparing behind the scenes. Help me to thank you not only when doors open, but even when they close, trusting that every closed door is either protection or redirection. Shape me into someone who gives thanks in all things, not because all things are good, but because you are good in all things. If my plans unravel today, let my praise remain intact. If people disappoint me, let my focus shift back to you. If I face frustration or delay, may I greet it not with complaint, but with curiosity, asking what you might be doing beneath the surface. You are never still, even when my world feels stuck. Your hand moves with intention, even in seasons where nothing seems to change. And so I wait, not passively, with purpose, believing that hope is not wasted when it is placed in your hands. Let my gratitude go beyond words. Let it become action. Let it influence the way I speak, the way I listen, the way I serve. When I am tempted to take things for granted, remind me of those who would give anything for what I now hold. Teach me to be generous not only with things, but with time, attention, and kindness. Let my life be proof that thankful hearts do not hoard blessings, they share them. And when I encounter people who are hurting, may I not bypass their pain in an attempt to protect my own comfort. Let me lean in instead. Let compassion guide me into spaces where healing begins. Whether I offer a prayer, a smile, a gesture, or simply presence, make me a vessel of encouragement. Let the gratitude in me overflow as grace toward others, softening what the world has hardened. Father, you have been far better to me than I deserve. Even in seasons of lack, your faithfulness has never failed. Even in the days where joy seemed buried, you planted hope deep enough to bloom again. I want to carry that awareness into everything I do today. I want to remember that nothing I offer is too small when given with love. A word of affirmation, a quiet act of service, a moment of patience, all of it matters when done in the light of your love. Keep me from the pride that forgets your provision. Keep me from the entitlement that demands more while ignoring what I already have. Keep me from the blindness that looks past the miracle of this moment. Instead, give me eyes to see the sacred woven into the ordinary. Let me live today not in pursuit of more, but in awareness of enough, because with you, I lack nothing that truly matters. As I go about my responsibilities, let me not just check off tasks, but carry a spirit of joy into every interaction. Let my home be filled with laughter that heals, not criticism that wounds. Let my workplace reflect integrity and intention. Let even my rest be rich with renewal. May every space I touch be brighter, because I carried light into it, not my own light, but yours reflected through me. And if discouragement tries to whisper that I am failing or falling behind, Silence it with reminders of truth. I am not behind. I am exactly where you knew I would be. I am not forgotten. I am held in the heart of my Creator. I am not inadequate. I am equipped for this very hour by the one who called me. Let truth be louder than fear today. Let peace be louder than pressure. Let love be the loudest voice I hear. Thank you, Lord, not just for what you give, but for who you are. Thank you for being constant in a world that shifts, for being gentle when I am fragile, for being patient when I resist, for being close when I wander. You are everything my soul longs for, and yet you offer yourself freely and fully each morning. That, above all else, is why I give thanks, not only today, but always, Lord, as my soul leans into the gentle peace of the morning. I carry forward the assurance I felt in the stillness of yesterday. In the quiet confidence you poured into me, I find strength to continue letting go of the things I cannot control. It is not in my grasping, but in my releasing that you show me how deeply you protect those who surrender. As the sun rises again and draws shadows into light, I want to walk freely, free from fear, free from anxiety, and free from the illusions that tell me I must hold everything together on my own. You remind me, again and again, that fear is not from you. Fear only shrinks the view of what you are capable of. It clouds my thoughts, limits my prayers, and weakens my heart. But when I dwell in the shelter of your presence, fear must fall silent. It cannot survive in the space where your truth speaks louder. So I bring you every anxious thought still hiding in the corners of my mind, and I ask you to meet them there. Replace them not only with logic or reason, but with your divine peace that surpasses all understanding. I know I am not immune to danger or sorrow, but I am no longer alone in them. You have promised that no matter what I walk through, you are beside me. So I do not ask you to remove every difficulty. I ask you to increase my faith. Let my trust in you grow deeper than my fear of the unknown. Let my awareness of your love grow stronger than the whisper of doubt. Teach me how to take refuge in you instead of running toward empty solutions. Help me stand firm, not in arrogance or denial, but in the unshakable ground of your promises. When the world tries to convince me that I must be in control, remind me that it is your sovereignty that holds all things together. I can rest because you never sleep. I can breathe deeply because you are not overwhelmed. I can face this day because you already see the end from the beginning. My portion is not chaos. My portion is peace. My portion is you. Even when I am surrounded by uncertainty, your presence becomes the constant I anchor to. Even when I do not understand what is happening around me, I can still choose to trust that nothing surprises you. You go before me. You stand behind me. You hem me in, surrounding me with unseen protection and grace. And so, in this moment, I unclench the tight fists of control. I loosen the grip of fear. I release what I was never meant to carry. And I place it all in your hands, every outcome. Every decision, every unknown path ahead. Lord, there is great power in trusting you fully. And yet, sometimes that trust feels fragile. Sometimes my heart wants to believe, but my thoughts chase doubt like a storm. So help me not to beat myself up for struggling. You are not offended by my weakness. You are moved with compassion. You draw near to those who cry out for help. So I cry out not in hopelessness, but in surrender. I bring you my need, and I let you be the answer. Help me to walk through today as someone who is covered, wrapped in the shelter of your promises, clothed in the armor of your faithfulness. Let me respond to every situation, not in reaction, but in reverence, not in panic, but in peace, not with fear, but with faith. And even when I feel vulnerable, help me remember that vulnerability with you is not weakness, it is the beginning of being truly held. God, if today holds challenges, help me face them with courage. If today holds blessings, help me receive them with gratitude. If today holds quietness, help me value the rest. If today holds noise, help me find you in the midst of it. No matter what unfolds, I do not go alone. You are my guard. You are my shield. You are the quiet voice that calms the storm before it overtakes me. I will not borrow trouble from tomorrow. I will not let fear write the script of my day. I choose instead to walk in the assurance that I am protected, not because the world is safe, but because you are faithful. I will face today not because I am fearless, but because I am yours, and nothing can snatch me from your hands. So here I am again, trusting you one step at a time. When I feel like rushing ahead, slow me down and remind me to abide. When I feel like shrinking back, stir in me the bravery that comes from knowing you are with me. When I am unsure, speak wisdom. When I am weary, restore strength. And when I forget, gently remind me of who I am and whose I am. I do not want to just survive this day. I want to move through it with purpose, with calm, and with confidence rooted not in myself, but in you. So fill me with your spirit. Make me mindful of your whispers. Keep my ears attentive to what you are saying, even in the smallest moments. And let my heart be unshaken, not because life is easy, but because you are near. You are my safety when everything else feels unstable. You are my comfort when everything else feels cold. You are the light when the day feels dim. And you are the hand I reach for when the ground beneath me shifts. Thank you for never failing, never for faltering, never forgetting your own. I step into this day not because I have it all figured out, but because I know the one who does. Lord, as the sun continues to rise and cast its gentle light upon my responsibilities, I step into this new morning mindful of how you have led me here. The thoughts from before are still fresh in my spirit, the desire to honor you with my time, to reflect your nature through my diligence, and to carry the right heart into every duty I meet. Now, Father, I ask you to come even closer as I prepare to labor through this day. Let your presence be the rhythm that guides every task I do, the still voice that keeps me anchored in grace when the chaos of expectations and deadlines swirl around me. Let your wisdom be the lens through which I view my priorities. Help me not to mistake business for progress or exhaustion for achievement. Instead, teach me to discern what is truly valuable, what brings glory to your name, and what merely distracts. May every meeting, every email, every challenge, and every goal be saturated with intentionality. I do not want to work just to finish things. I want to work to glorify you. Let every piece of effort I offer today be an act of worship, however unseen it may be. God, I lift to you every project on my plate. I place before you every conversation that awaits me, every opportunity that might cross my path, and even the difficulties I cannot yet foresee. Go ahead of me, Lord. Clear away confusion. Let clarity rise where disorder threatens to scatter my focus. Give me a steady mind, alert senses, and a heart that welcomes challenge without fear. May I carry your peace like armor into high-pressure spaces. Let others sense your calm in me, even when situations around me seem anything but calm. I pray for the wisdom to navigate decisions with maturity and depth. Let me not be swayed by impulse or influenced by comparison, but rather rooted in truth and integrity. Open my ears to hear clearly, not only the voices around me, but the quiet conviction of your spirit within me. Speak into every choice, every hesitation, every moment when I question myself. Remind me that success in your kingdom is measured not by applause or praise, but by obedience, by purity of heart, and by faithfulness in small things. God, when doubt comes knocking, as it always tries, to fill me with your perspective, remind me I am not alone. I do not carry the burden of outcomes. My role is faithfulness. The fruit belongs to you. Release me from the anxiety of needing to prove myself or outperform others. Lift from me the weight of unhealthy expectations. Let me work not for approval, but from the confidence that I am already loved by you. Instill in me a spirit of excellence, but guard me from perfectionism that paralyzes or punishes. Let me strive for progress, not unattainable ideals. When I stumble, help me learn. When I fall short, help me grow. Let setbacks be refining, not defining. Show me how to receive correction without shame and to celebrate progress without pride. Let humility walk hand in hand with confidence in all I do today. Lord, I also ask you to cover my attitude with your spirit. Let gratitude be the banner over everything I do. Let patience govern my tone. Let joy flow even when I am tired or stressed. Let kindness be my default, not something I have to force. Let gentleness season my responses, even under pressure. And above all, let love saturate everything: how I lead, how I follow, how I create, how I serve. Transform my ordinary tasks into sacred offerings. Whether I am typing an email or cleaning a room, speaking to a client or planning a schedule, let every action carry purpose. Let me remember that nothing done in love with your spirit is ever wasted. Remind me that you see what others overlook. You reward faithfulness in the secret places. So even when the world does not applaud, you are smiling. And if at any point today I feel overwhelmed, draw me back to you. Be the well I draw from when I feel empty. Be the source of my next breath when I feel depleted. When the weight of responsibility presses down, remind me that your yoke is easy and your burden is light. Teach me to pause, to breathe, to invite you back into the center when I have drifted towards striving. God, I thank you for the opportunities this day will hold, even the ones I do not yet recognize. I thank you for the ways you will stretch me, for the doors you will open, for the lessons you will write on my heart. Help me not to rush through today, trying to get to the end, but to walk slowly enough to notice your fingerprints on every hour. Teach me to be present. Teach me to notice beauty in the mundane. Teach me to listen well, to speak with intention, to pause before reacting. Let today not be defined by how much I accomplish, but by how much I reflect you in the process. Let success be redefined not as the world defines it, but as you do. Success in being faithful, success in loving well, success in becoming more like you. Fill me now with a fresh wind of inspiration. Let my heart beat in sync with your desires. Let my hands be eager to serve. Let my words be seasoned with grace. Let my mind be sharp and focused. Let my spirit be calm and anchored. Let my soul be alive with hope and possibility. Today is not just another day, it is a divine appointment. And I step into it with open hands and surrendered heart, ready to see what you will do through me and in me. Father, as I continue to move through this day, your presence remains the gentle current beneath every breath I take. The moments I prayed for wisdom, strength, and grace earlier still echo softly in my heart. And now I sense your invitation to rest deeper, to embrace a peace that goes beyond what my mind can comprehend. It is a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that steadies the soul even when circumstances swirl with uncertainty or challenge. This peace is not the absence of conflict or struggle, but a profound calm anchored in your unwavering love. Lord, when worries begin to crowd my thoughts or fear tries to press its heavy hand on my spirit, remind me to return to this peace. Teach me to breathe it in deeply like the fresh morning air, letting it fill every anxious space and replace every restless moment with stillness. Let this peace be a shield around my heart, a refuge from the storms that threaten to overwhelm. May it settle within me like a quiet river, flowing steady and sure, no matter what the day brings. You promise that your peace will guard my heart and mind. Let that promise become my reality today. When doubts whisper and uncertainties arise, speak your truth louder than the lies that try to take root. Help me to hold tightly not to my fears, but to your faithfulness. Remind me that I do not face this world alone. You are my protector, my refuge, my constant companion. Because of this, I can walk forward with courage even when the path is unclear. God, help me embrace this peace not as a fleeting feeling, but as a posture of my soul. Let it guide my decisions and influence my reactions when I am tempted to respond with frustration or impatience. Remind me to pause and choose peace instead. When I face conflict, help me become a peacemaker who reflects your heart. Let my words be gentle, my spirit humble, and my intentions pure. In all that I say and do, let your peace shine through me as a light to others. Even when the weight of responsibility feels heavy, let this peace lighten my load. Teach me to surrender control, to trust that you hold the bigger picture, even when I cannot see it. Help me to remember that peace is not found in perfect circumstances, but in your perfect presence, where I cannot change my situation. Let me change my perspective. Let me find contentment not in what I have or do, but in who you are. Lord, I ask for peace that sustains me through every season, peace in moments of joy and peace in times of sorrow, peace when my spirit soars and peace when my heart aches. Help me to cultivate this peace daily, nurturing it through prayer, reflection, and surrender. May it grow so deeply within me that no external turmoil can uproot it. When I feel overwhelmed, remind me that your grace is sufficient. When I feel weak, remind me that your power is made perfect in weakness. Help me to rest in these truths and allow your peace to fill the spaces where fear once lived. Let me find freedom in knowing that I am loved unconditionally and held securely by your hands. God, teach me to extend this peace to those around me. Let me be a source of calm in chaotic places. When others are troubled or anxious, give me the words to comfort and the heart to empathize. Let my actions be a balm to weary souls, and my presence a reflection of your kindness. May peace flow from me as naturally as breath, touching everyone I encounter. As this day unfolds, I surrender every thought, every worry, every hope into your care. I choose to rest in the knowledge that your peace is not dependent on circumstances, but on your character. It is a gift freely given, a refuge always available. Let me walk forward carrying this peace with confidence and joy, knowing that you go before me, behind me, and beside me always. Thank you, Father, for the peace that calms my fears, quiets my mind, and renews my spirit. Thank you for being the unshakable foundation on which I stand. May this peace overflow in my life, drawing others to the hope and rest found only in you. Father, as I stand at the edge of this day's journey, my heart overflows with gratitude for the way you have carried me through every step, through every doubt, every struggle, every moment of joy, and every season of waiting. You have been my constant companion, my refuge in the storms, and the gentle whisper that calms my restless soul. I have learned to lean into your presence more deeply than ever before, trusting not in my own strength, but in your unfailing love and faithfulness. The path ahead may still be unclear, but the assurance of your nearness lights my way. Lord, I thank you for the lessons you have unfolded in this time of prayer, lessons of surrender and trust, of peace that transcends understanding, and joy that is rooted in your grace. You have invited me to lay down my burdens again and again, and each time I have found in you a strength I did not know I had. Today, I choose to carry forward that strength not as a shield of self-reliance, but as a garment woven with hope and humility. May I walk with a heart that remains open to your guidance and a spirit willing to embrace whatever lies ahead. As the dawn breaks softly on the horizon, I am reminded that every ending is also a beginning. Just as the sun rises steadily to scatter the shadows, so too does your light penetrate the darkest places within me. This light does not demand that I have all the answers or perfect faith, but that I step forward in trust, one small step after another, knowing that you are already there, waiting with open arms. Let this truth echo in my soul, quieting the fears that seek to hold me back, and inspiring courage to move toward all you have promised. Father, as I close this chapter of prayer, I want to thank you and thank everyone who has journeyed alongside me through these words. Thank you for holding space for honest hearts, for weary souls, and for those searching for hope in the quiet moments of mourning. If this time has touched you, I invite you to share your thoughts, your prayers, and your stories below. Let us be a community that lifts each other up. that carries each other through the highs and lows, and that never loses sight of the hope we have in you. If this prayer has been a blessing to you, please consider subscribing to this channel, sharing this message with others who might need encouragement, and returning day after day to nurture your faith. Together, we can keep the flame of trust burning bright, even when the way feels uncertain. Let us walk forward, not alone, but with a family bound by love and faith, pressing on toward the promises of a new day. And now, as I step away from these words, I carry with me the image of a gentle breeze stirring the morning air, soft and fresh, full of possibility, like the quiet flow of a stream winding through the trees. Life continues to move forward, carrying us toward places we have yet to see. May this calm movement remind us that even in moments of pause, there is progress. Even in silence, there is growth. And even when the future is unknown, there is a peace that steadies us, born from the certainty of your unwavering presence. May the light of new beginnings warm your heart today and every day, and may you find strength in the promise that with each sunrise, you are invited to start again full of hope, full of courage, and full of love.